This and the Big Sills way. 4 hours of positivity. 4 hours of nothing but straight talk. This isn't sports talk. It's straight talk. Some can handle it. Some can't handle it. Okay? Remember, JAKIB Sports, which is brought to you by the way, BetUS. We appreciate our new partners at BetUS. Thank you. It's not for the faint of heart. It is not for the faint of heart. This is not one of your fireside chat places. This is a place right here where, again, sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes you don't want to face it like you didn't last year at all. Kept telling you who you were. No, we're 10-1. No, you're not. I think this year, though, they've done a lot of things to rectify some of the things that went wrong last year. Hey, first and foremost, I do want to do this. Congratulations to Nick Foles on giving the Philadelphia sports fans one of the greatest moments in the history of your sports culture by winning the Super Bowl. Has to go down as the greatest moment in sports history. The Flyers winning back-to-back championships. The 67 76ers winning that championship with Wilt. 83 Sixers. The Phillies winning it with Rose, and then later on. And, of course, the greatest moment. And you can go back if you want to 60 with Bednarik winning the title. In recent memory, those are probably the greatest moments in Eagle sports history and in Philadelphia sports history. If you're going to go chronologically, you would go 60 Eagles, 67 Sixers, 74 and 75 Flyers, the 83 Sixers. Then you would go to the Phillies again, winning a championship. And then, of course, you would go with the Eagles, winning a championship. Those are your greatest moments since 1960. And I would say the Foles moment, beating the GOAT and beating the GOAT coach, was arguably the greatest moment in Philadelphia sports history. He'll go down, as I call him, the greatest substitute teacher in NFL history. 14,000 passing yards, nothing to write home about. Had one great touchdown year. That was 2013, where he went 27 touchdowns and 2 picks. Only threw for 2,800 yards that year. Nothing to write home about. Yeah, Wayne, the 08 Phillies, of course. By the way, please hit the like button. You have been destroying the like button. Just absolutely destroying it. We appreciate that. I'll ask you one question here. Xander, I wish we could do a poll question here. Should the Philadelphia Eagles put Nick Foles in the Eagle Hall of Fame? Is he worthy of being in the Birds Hall of Fame? Not really a number where you look at. Xander's going to put a poll up. LJ says no. Wow. 14,000. Yeah, like Jeff Hostetler. That's who he is. He's Jeff Hostetler. If you're going to keep it in the NFC East, he's Jeff Hostetler. Hostetler took over for an injured Sims after the Bills game. I think they were 10-0, actually, too, the Giants. Then Hostetler rolled that team to a Super Bowl championship. Hall of Fame is based on a career, not a moment. This is a tough call here. He gave you the greatest moment in Philadelphia sports history. Okay? Would you put Nick Foles in the Eagle Hall of Fame? Is he worthy of it? By the way, this is a Jeffrey Lurie pick. Okay, this is a Jeffrey Lurie pick. So the owner had a little bit to do with this guy. By the way, he put a really cool video out. And just like Shady McCoy, he's an Eagle. Make no mistake about that. Okay? Here's LJ on Nick Foles. Foles will never buy a beer in Philly. He has a statue. But that doesn't warrant being up there with the legends. His legendary moment and his legendary run, he thinks doesn't constitute. I think this is a tough question. It's like asking if Brady belongs in the Buccaneer Ring of Honor. Brady played 2 years in Tampa. Is that a career? Wait, Brady delivered a Super Bowl. Get it. Okay? Eagles Hall of Fame is an easy call. Yes, says M. Reyes. Those legends never got Philly a Super Bowl. Wow. Okay. Foles did more for the Eagles than just that one game. Could have been 2 Super Bowls if Jeffrey doesn't have Butterfingers against the Saints. Alshon Jeffries, he's talking. I agree. He catches that ball. Wentz is moved. There's no way they're moving a guy who goes to 2 straight NFC title games. That game probably changed the career path of Nick Foles. Alshon Jeffries dropping that pass in New Orleans. Absolutely. He is already in the NFL Hall of Fame. He can be in the Eagles. PR's Tavern. Thank you very much for the super chat, my friend. Thank you. Means a lot. Thank you very much. Seals, he did something no other Eagle quarterback has done. He has won a Super Bowl. T.O. had a great season. Got us to the Super Bowl, says LJ. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. His jersey is in there next to Brady and Joe Montana in the Hall of Fame. Does that warrant him being a Philadelphia Eagle Hall of Famer? Man, what a tough call. He had him. I mean, at 27 touchdowns and 2 pick season, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he made a Pro Bowl too, right? Didn't Foles make a Pro Bowl with the Eagles as a quarterback? And by the way, that's a good call too. Chips and birds. Dude, this guy just didn't win a Super Bowl. He was the MVP in the game. He has certain things that no other Eagle quarterback has ever done, including Ron Jaworski. He's taken a team to a Super Bowl. He's won the damn thing. And he took home the Super Bowl MVP. I mean, the greatest quarterbacks in the history of your franchise have never done that. I mean, you've had some legendary players in that position going back to the 60s. And they have not accomplished that. Then the question is, could they have won with anyone else back there at quarterback? I don't think so. I think anyone else besides Eli could have done it. Oh, Ronald, you think that Wentz would have? So, Ronald, you think Wentz would have won it then? Angelo Cataldi doesn't think so. He says there's no way Carson Wentz delivers that Super Bowl Sunday night against the Patriots. Pro Bowl MVP. Hold on here. So I forgot that. Foles was a Pro Bowl MVP, a Super Bowl MVP, won the damn game, and he was a Pro Bowler. This guy's case is getting a little bit better. This guy's case is getting a little bit better. Please hit the like button here. Thank you, Prince, man. You're really awesome, and we appreciate you so much more than you know. If Cunningham is in the Eagles Hall of Fame, I don't see how you can keep Foles out. Yes, all of that big sells. Man, Pro Bowl MVP, Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl winner, Pro Bowler, all with the Philadelphia Eagles. Damn, dude. I guess I haven't answered. I got to answer it, right? Look at. Oh, okay, LJ. Here, look at LJ here. He calls it the Sileo. Is that what he's calling it? The Sileo. Dude, wait a minute. I got to check out Nick Foles. I'm sorry. I can't. Because now, before I make my vote, before I make my vote, let me get down here. Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl winner, Pro Bowl, NFL passing leader in 2013. I mean, so, okay, 7 touchdown passes in a game, tied for NFL record, 25 consecutive pass completions, tied. Playoff career completion percentage, 68-1. He's number 1. Get the fuck out of here. Get out. No way. No way. No way. And I never knew he played at Arizona. I didn't know he started at Michigan State. Holy shit. This guy's got some accolades, dog. He played for dickhead Chip Kelly, too. Chip Kelly could destroy anybody. This is crazy. This guy's more accomplished. Oh, my God, he played for the Rams. I had forgot. Even the Chiefs? 17 Super Bowl MVP. Foles in the NFC Championship game against the Vikings was 26 of 33 for 352 yards and 3 touchdowns. He follows it up in the Super Bowl, going 28 of 43 for 373 yards and 3 touchdowns, and was named the game's most valuable player. I got to say, here. Would I put Nick Foles in the Eagle Hall of Fame? Yeah. Yes. You know why? Every time people roll into Lincoln Financial, you'll look up and you'll see Foles' name, and you know what it will be? He'll have one thing every single player on that list won't have. You know what that is? A Super Bowl winning quarterback. Of all the quarterbacks that played in Eagle history in the Super Bowl era, he'll always have that over everyone else. Until someone else does that. That's right. And he beat the 2 GOATs. Dude. And hey, and for Eagle fans too. Hey, Crowley, how about this when you walk into Lincoln Financial as an Eagle fan and you look up and you see his name? That will always bring a smile to your face, won't it? You want to walk into a game and feel good about your guys and your legacy. And you know what people will say about that guy up there on that wall? I don't care what you think about Nick. He represents Philly. Doesn't have big numbers. Doesn't have really a long career at Philly. You know what he did do? He brought it home. Shit. Hey, man. He dove off the boat, went down, got the treasure. He's the only guy to come up with air. I think he belongs in the in the Eagle Hall of Fame. I help put lists together. Does he have the numbers? No. Is McNabb more worthy? Hey, how about that one? Who's more worthy to be up there in the Eagle Ring of Honor or the Eagle Hall of Fame? Donovan McNabb or Nick Foles? If you had to win a game, would you want Nick as your quarterback for 60 minutes or Donovan? Who would you want? So let me get this right. This guy threw for over 700 yards in 2 games, the NFC title game, and then turned around and threw for 373 in the Super Bowl against the Patriots and Belichick. I want to forget McNabb. I'll take Foles. Hit the like button. You guys are great, man. He's the ultimate substitute teacher, though. But I think only the Eagle fans would understand why he's up there. Everybody else rolling in from out of town would look up and go, Nick Foles? And they wouldn't get it, though. I don't think they would get it. Foles, and it's not even close. That's what Xander says. If you had to pick a 60-minute quarterback between McNabb and Foles, not close. Not close. Some football tonight. Carolina, New England. I hear Drake May sucks out loud up there. Detroit at New York. Hey, you want to hear something? Andy Reid is playing Patrick Mahomes this weekend on Saturday. What? Andy Reid is playing the starters. Kelsey's playing. Chris Jones is playing. And Mahomes is playing. Hey, ho, what do we got going here, man? Damn, that's some coolions. You're going to play a guy who's going for a three-peat against a team with a bunch of baggage handlers that will be working at Philadelphia International in about 4 weeks. That's what he's doing? Holy cow, does Andy Reid's got a sack on him like, holy cow, man. That is something. You lose that quarterback. But then again, that's probably one of the reasons why he knows if he loses a quarterback, he ain't losing his gig over that. Jonathan Gannon would lose his gig over that. Holy shit. Damn. Playing as starters. At least the series this weekend, the Kansas City Chiefs are. Hey, yeah, okay. Man. By the way, I heard John McMullen and Xander talking about a little bit of that Tim McManus article. I want to hit a small tidbit on it and talk about day 10 of training camp. We'll hit on that a little bit. What else is our topic here? Yeah, we're going to do day 10. We're going to go into detail on it. And we're going to do a little bit of what those guys talked about. And we'll hit on it. Thank you very much for the super chat here, Disciple. I did that last season too. He played them first and second quarter. He's talking about the Chiefs. He did that last year. Guys, please hit the like button. You're smoking today. You're smoking already out of the gate. Okay. Let me get into a little bit of what I heard. I heard something today. Xander and I were talking about this. As soon as they started talking, and you know the one comment that I'll take that kind of carries it forward to 2024. Remember what I told you the last comment that Jalen Hurts made when he was sitting down talking to the press? There were two things in that press conference that I had takeaways with that were newsworthy. The Wink Martindale comment and also the very last statement by Hurts. I wonder if part of the contentiousness versus Hurts and Sirianni had a lot to do with more how the organization felt about where he was in his development. Follow me here. I don't want to indict Jason Kelce because Jason Kelce also called protections for Carson Wentz. I heard John say that, and I'm going to take John at his word. Okay? John's been around the team hell of a lot longer. Hell, Xander has. Okay? That's not normal. 31 other teams, even backup quarterbacks, have control of setting pass protection. Caleb Williams will be in control of pass protection in Chicago. Just so you know. That's why that comment I was telling Xander yesterday, the last statement for me was telling. He never had control of his offense. This is what Brian Johnson and Jalen were trying to do. I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts did not trust Jason Kelce. That's not what I'm saying here. And it had been a statement. I'm saying, how much say did Jeff Stoutland have in that decision making that he didn't believe that Jalen Hurts should be the guy that handles pass protection? And that's why Cliff Kingsbury didn't get the job, because Cliff Kingsbury wanted to hire a new OC or a new O-line coach that would give the autonomy to the quarterback. Now he's got it now. But get this, think about this. Jalen Hurts, if Jason Kelce had decided to play, he wouldn't be calling pass protections and wouldn't have complete control of the offense. That dynamic would still be there. No wonder Jalen Hurts hasn't said much about the retirement of Kelce. I think he loves it that he retired. I think he hates the fact he loses an all-pro. Totally hates that. But I think he thinks Jurgens can do the job. I think Jalen thinks it's about time I had control. That's an organizational decision. That they were going to give Kelce the responsibility because he had it the last 2 years, or two quarterbacks, we'll say. What this does now is it puts a bigger bullseye on Hurts. Can't blame your O-line now. You can't blame your center. By the way, there was an article, if somebody can Google it, that there was like a comment that Kelce or someone made that Kelce was telling Hurts where the blitz was coming from, and he still couldn't see it. Maybe it wasn't that Hurts couldn't see it. Maybe he didn't trust the pass protection that Kelce was calling. Could that have led to his retirement? I don't know. Listen, I'm spitballing here. But the comment that Hurts made at the end of that presser, and hearing McMullen say, well, Kelce called it for Wentz, that's a decision by Stoutland, Nick, and probably the higher-ups. LJ, listen, I'm not saying that there's a bad relationship. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying he has animosity towards Kelce. I'm talking about as a quarterback. Andreas, it's not fake news. He fucking said it. It's not fake news. Watch the presser. His words were, I've been waiting for this. It's not fake news. Let me finish here. How can it be fake news when it comes out of Hurts' mouth? How's that fake news? I'm not saying, LJ, they have a bad relationship. Okay? I'm not saying that. Not at all. No way. But as an ego for a quarterback, part of the process for you to be able to run a football team is to have complete control of the unit. Remember, hey, Xander, what's the name of that? What's the name of that podcast that Tom Brady does? Tom Brady on his podcast was talking about the development of quarterback. He goes, one of the most important things that you can have as a quarterback to develop a quarterback is setting pass protections. If a quarterback can't set pass protections, you're not developing a quarterback. Jason gave up more sacks than Lane in the last 3 years. Hey, dude. Lane Johnson, Jason Kelce. and for the record, I am no way saying that there's a poor relationship. I'm talking about the quarterback wanting to have control of the unit. Hey, those guys could be best of buddies, but that has nothing to do with what a quarterback wants when it comes to running his offense. Hey, you want to hear something else that was said that Big Sills learned from an inside source inside the organization? Nick Sirianni used to pull Jalen Hurts out of offensive quarterback meetings and have conversations with him about what he wanted to see this week and what he wanted to see that Sunday. He'd pull him out of meetings. Last year, Sirianni was pulling him out of Brian Johnson quarterback meetings. I mean, you talk about being frustrated if you're Brian Johnson. I mean, LJ goes, Prince sold out. No, he didn't. Nothing wrong with having somebody that is part of our program. LJ, you're part of it. Sold out. Thank you, LJ. Thank you, Prince. I'll tell you what selling out is. You want to know what selling out is that you guys have been listening to for all those years? How about this, Prince? What did Big Sills tell you guys yesterday was going to happen? That ESP guy throwing out that Nick Sirianni is such a great coach. Remember what I said? You watch Howard Eskin post something next. Sure enough, Nick Sirianni is a fabulous football coach. Actually tweeted it out right after my program. The two plants in the building doing their jobs. I should read that thing. Listen to this thing here. This is your boy. And by the way, he's on the sidelines Friday night. It's crazy. I predicted it, and he did. It didn't even take him a full day. And he was out there fucking putting that out there on. I mean, it didn't even take him long. Fans can say what they want. Here's Howard Eskin here. Fans can say what they want about the Eagle head coach, Nick Sirianni. But you need to understand he's a good coach. Then why was he almost fired? Why did the quarterback hate his guts? This is one of the reasons players have respect for him. Jalen doesn't respect him as a coach. He likes him as a man. This is a bullshit tweet. It's difficult to have both from players. I hear it from players. So easy to criticize. This is a bullshit tweet. There wasn't a person in the building that respected Nick Sirianni last year, including his coaches. Including his coaches. And here's Howard Eskin saving his job after that whole fiasco by posting something for the organization. Way to go, Bob. Holy shit. Are you guys under the umbrella of just misinformation? Holy shit. I mean, I heard John talking today, and John goes, I'm not here to make the Eagles feel better about themselves. If there's a story, I'm covering it. He's dead right. That's exactly how you have to go about your business, no matter what the timing is. And I agree with John. I don't think somebody sits at home and goes, how can I get under the Eagles' skin today? That's not what they do. You're supposed to react to news. You're not supposed to create it. I do something different. I'm a talk show host. I'm not a reporter. Okay? I'm not a journalist. I am not a journalist. By the way, today, Xander's going to join us at 3:30. Jason Cole at 4:30. And guess who's going to jump in with us? We're going to talk a little sports with our friend Ice Cube. That's going to be at 5 o'clock Eastern time. We'll get his thoughts on the Olympics. We'll get his thoughts on his great tournament he's got going on. He's a big football fan, Raider fan. We'll get his comments. So Ice Cube is going to join us. That'll be at 5 o'clock. So Xander at 3:30. Jason Cole at 4:30, and then the legendary Ice Cube will join us at 5 o'clock as we start to ramp up all the guests, start to come back on the program here as we're getting ready to go into a pretty packed NFL weekend. This is going to be the first weekend where everybody's playing, so I look forward to talking some sports with Ice Cube at 5 o'clock Eastern time. My good friend will join us at 5 o'clock. Eduardo goes, Sills, let's get Cube to get Crosby to the Eagles. I like it. I like it, right? Hey, Sills, what about the potential linebacker trades? Kyle, I'll get into that a little bit later on in the program here. So, again, guys, Hurts has been waiting for this moment. Now, what does this mean? All the pressure's on Jalen. I personally don't think that you're going to see too much collaboration between Cam Jurgens and Jalen Hurts in pass protection. Okay? I don't. I think this is going to have a lot to do. Okay? I think this is going to have a lot to do with Hurts. Okay? I do. Best guest ever, Senor. Ice Cube, 5 o'clock. So he'll be there for us. Imagine getting criticized week in and week out for something which you have no control over. Think about it from Hurts' point of view. Even if you see blitzes coming, you can't do shit about it. Sam, I think that's Hurts' thought. So Jason Kelce failed last year, right? Okay? Jason Kelce, he failed. Isn't this on Kelce? Third in blitzes? What didn't you say? That's on Kelce? He called pass protection. Or is that on the quarterback still? Right? Maniac, what up, my friend? Niners all damn day left my house. So some people in here swear they are Eagle fans by the way they talk. How about this one here? Big Sills, watch your show every day. I love how you keep it real. Even when it's stuff we don't want to accept. Thank you, Tube. I appreciate that, man. That means a lot. That's exactly how I look at it. I'll say one thing for sure, too. One thing that I'm going to say this. Hey, Niner all day. I'm going to ask you something here. Don't you agree the one thing that the Eagles do better than the 49ers? Here's what the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan do compared to what the Eagles do, and I think the Eagles do a better job of it. So if I have a Lamborghini or a Bentley and I pay $250,000 for it, okay? Kellen will be our new head coach next season, potentially. Potentially. I paid $350,000 for a Bentley. Like driving it. It's a coupe. I like the coupe Bentley myself. Okay? Driven it a few times. Drive it to work back and forth. I love it. You know, I use it. The 49ers have Kittle, who's a Bentley. Ayuk, who's a Bentley. McCaffrey, who's a Bentley. Who else? Deebo Samuel as a Bentley. And here's my problem. Kyle Shanahan will take out the Bentley maybe with Kittle once. Another game, he'll take Ayuk and go 4. The only guy that really gets a lot of touches is McCaffrey. Whereas we're the Eagles, they drive their 2 Bentleys, man, almost into the ground. They use their money. The only guy that's really underutilized is the tight end. And I think one of the reasons why they don't use him is because he's hurt. One thing the Eagles do, every game, those guys get touches and plays, and they're a major focal point. Kyle Shanahan will pull their Bentley out of the garage whenever needed. Well, this week we need this car. That week, man, that's such a luxury because you have a quarterback that doesn't make dick. I mean, you're going to lose that affordability to be able to do that. You got to use these guys, man. I'm not paying $25 million to use Ayuk every other week or Debo to use him every other week. There's no question that the Eagles get more cost efficiency out of what they do with Devontae and what they do with AJ than what the 49ers do with all their pieces, only because the quarterback makes dick money. I think that's not well spent money. If I'm going to spend a majority of my cap, one thing the Philadelphia Eagles do, every guy that makes big money plays. They play. They get touches and targets. The 49er guys, I've seen games where Kittle's doesn't even get targets. I don't want to pay for that. I don't want to pay for that. Okay? Sills, I find it strange that the center is the one to call it. How can he know if the back four change their positions once he's already getting ready and sets to hike the ball? I don't know how he sees that either. I think that's really weird. I think that has a lot to do with Jeff Stoutland. I think Stoutland had a lot to say in Jalen not being able to call pass protection. I think the organization didn't trust him. Now that Kelsey's gone, he's the next guy in line. But if Kelsey hadn't retired, Jalen Hurts would still not be calling pass protections. Think about that. It took Kelsey to retire to give the offense to Jalen. Maybe the things that Brian Johnson was saying was right. They never gave him total control of the offense at any time. I want you guys to think about something here. And you know why Jalen Hurts was so good in 22? Why do you think he was so good in 22? Tell me why he was good in 22 and not good in 23. Not to relitigate anything here. But this goes into the Jason Kelsey comment that Xander and John McMullen were talking about. What was the difference? Jalen had control of the offense. The unknown. Hey, Greg, tell folks what the RPO is. Hurts had control of the RPO. His decision-making. Hasn't that been a mantra this camp? Decision-making? Hasn't that been? Prince, great job, man. Please hit the like button, guys. Already over 100. Killing it. Because remember something. When you run the RPO, and you hike the ball, coordinator has no say. Once Jalen Hurts has the ball in his hand, he turns. And if that end is coming, that end isn't coming, he runs them, he freezes them, hands it off, takes off himself. Those are decision-making that Jalen Hurts made himself. He had more control of the offense in 22 than he did in 23. This is so making sense now. The control. Here's why Hurts was frustrated last year. Because Wink Martindale said it. We knew they weren't committed to running anymore, which meant they weren't committed to Hurts controlling the offense. Nick's ego did. That's why this offseason and now in camp has been a priority to give him more control. Set the pass protections. I'm telling you, this is setting up for something good here. Not bad. This is not shit talking. This is setting up for them going, hey, it may not look like the same version of 22, but what they're doing is they're giving him the control of the offense again like he had in 22. May look a little different because now you got Saquon behind you. He doesn't have to carry the load of that. Here, get this. Hurts has more responsibility in setting pass protection, but he may not have the same responsibility of handling the RPO. I got a $10 million running back now. It's kind of well thought out. It's kind of well thought out here. It is. That's why every time Sirianni's asked a question about his communication with Kellen, he deviates off it and talks about coaching linebackers. Because he can't tell the truth about it, because everybody would know he has no conversations about anything they're doing. What communications is possibly Kellen Moore and Nick going to have in a game when Jalen has made it very clear? I want nothing to do with his influence in the offense. It's smoke screens. If Kellen wants to call a play, Nick doesn't have veto power. He has no veto power. How many times, and I know Xander's seen this, watch Nick Sirianni answer a question. He can't answer that question. Oh, then I walk into the linebacker room or I walk in the DT room. That's not what they asked you. What is your communication with Kellen? Kellen and, we're trying to work things together, the new and the old. And you're like, new and the old? You have no say in the new and the old because the quarterback doesn't want you involved in the new. Jalen Hurts has grown as a leader. Quietly. I went back and watched that clip when he questioned Tim McManus and the Jeremy Fowler, what's the big thing on Wink? I didn't think that was you know what? I think more quarterbacks should do that. How'd you beat me? I don't think that's a poor thing to do. I never really actually thought about it. You get beat by something. You get beat by Belichick. Hey, Bill, this is whatchamacallit from the Kansas City Chiefs. This is Patrick Mahomes. What did you see that, I was doing that made me so accessible to that blitz? I never thought about it. I think you've got to have really a lot of humility to do that. Hey, Wink, you had a lot of success. What did you see? Well, you guys weren't committed to running with you. We knew that. We just brought pressure. As far as I heard, Wink told him, be prepared. Todd's going to throw pressure at you. So Jalen and Brian Johnson went into Nick Sirianni and told him that Todd Bowles was going to bring pressure in that Bucs game. He wanted fucking nothing to do with it. And Jason Kelsey didn't help. So think about what went on there for a second. We're going to move on here to day 10 of the camp. So Jalen talks to a guy a few days after the Giants beat him. They weren't committed to running him, and they knew the blitzes were affecting him. So Jalen was just told this. And then Wink tells him, Todd's a big blitz guy. Be prepared. Bowles is going to bring the house on you. And they did. And they still didn't stop it. JM goes, he was undermining his own coach. That's a dick move. Hey, fuck that. If the guy is the captain of a boat and he's going to ram the iceberg, I'm jumping off. JM's going to stay on. How dumb can you be? Undermining a coach who's driving me into an iceberg is not something I'm going to do. I'm going to go down with the ship? Not thank you, babe. No. Not thank you. No way. Not happening. Wink Martindale told him the Wink before. Hey, Todd's going to bring blitzes. This is the thing I'm talking about with Kelsey. Again, I'm not trying to sit here and say that Jason Kelsey and Jalen have a bad relationship. I think Jason Kelce and Jalen Hurts weren't on the same page when it came to blitz pickup. You know why? It's the quarterback's responsibility to see it, not through the eyes of Jason Kelce, through his own eyes. To what you said, Prince, how the hell can he see that what you're doing on the second level back there or the third level of your defense when you're down in a snap? How can you see that if they don't change when you're bringing a safety or strong safety when it comes to blitzing? How can you see that? You're down in the crotch with your head up like this, and you don't know what they're doing when they're changing strength. How can you see that? JM says Hurts didn't use that information because Sirianni didn't want to hear it. Not undermining Nick. Hurts knew Nick did not have the intellect to give Hurts the answer. Senor, don't you agree this is why Hurts is saying right now? And by the way, do you not agree with this one too? And I know Xander says this all the time. Hurts does everything intentionally. That comment at the end of that presser yesterday or 2 days ago is telling on where you are now. He's in a good place. Sirianni wanted to control everything on the coaching side and even showed on the sideline. There was video proof he was even calling the plays in 23. You know, Xander said something yesterday when he was with us and said, Sills, why would you give it to Brian Johnson? If things were going that way, isn't that Nick's role? He has to come in. What's he ever done? Again, this shit started in the offseason. And it was only going to roll to that point where you got to that comment that Xander made. You should have addressed that when you first hired him. Why'd you hire him? Because there was going to be a situation in the year that you were going to have to overcome and have answers. No one in the building had answers. And the only answer was to do what? Not listen to Hurts? I think there's more to that last statement. Again, I want to make sure we underscore, I am not sitting here telling you that Jason Kelce and Jalen Hurts have this horrific. No. I think the quarterback has to have complete control of the unit. And that comes down to pass routes, progression reading. How do you know this? Let's do this as well. How do you know one of the reasons that Jalen Hurts can't read defenses is because he doesn't know where the blitz is coming from? Or if he does know where the blitz is coming from, he can do nothing about it because Kelce set the pass protection. Didn't Jalen have any kind of audible out of that? Or was that always set in stone? See what I'm saying? If you set a pass protection to a certain thing, you're assuming the blitz or the pressure is going to come from a certain angle on the field, weak side, strong side, up the middle, what have you. How can you set and have an idea in your pre-snap read on where you're going with it? If you get to the line of scrimmage, your center calls for pass protection, that contradicts where he thinks the pressure's coming from. Jalen thinks the pressure's coming from the weak side, and Kelce calls strong side protection, and he calls a fan protection. Hurts has to go with what Kelce says, hit on the quarterback. That's, again, what we said, the most telling thing in that whole thing, outside of the Wink Martindale deal, was the wink, the beginning, and the end of it. The other stuff in the middle was kind of neat, but not really newsworthy. It was old news. The new news was, I have control now. Jalen Hurts would probably be a better reader of defenses now, because he's going to set where he thinks the pressure's coming from, not where the guy down there. Do you know what a slave you become to when a guy has predetermined pass protections where he goes like this? We're going to fan strong side here. Jalen comes to the line of scrimmage and he goes, oh man, they're bringing pressure from the weak side. You can see it. How many times did he get back there and Hurts was hitting the pocket? Made him look like he didn't have and then you didn't have very good pass protecting backs. Made it look even worse. I think that went on a lot. And quite frankly, I think coordinators realized that Hurts wasn't calling the protection. They were probably, hey, you know what a great tidbit is? You know why Nick Bosa probably knew? Not because of what Hurts was doing, but because of what Kelsey was doing. If Kelsey makes a call, they probably had the preconceived notion they're going to fan strong side or weak side. You're going to bring the pressure from the opposing side. And that's why Hurts wasn't throwing across the middle of the field. He's throwing in the numbers. I think there was a disconnect between Kelsey and Hurts last year. I think as the season went on, we're not on the same page. I read an article, I can't remember it, I'll find it, where Kelsey was telling him where he thought the blitzes were coming from, and Hurts didn't believe it. Eagles defense, and Nick Sirianni is the reason why the Eagles won't make it to the Super Bowl. Well, hang in there on the defense for a second here. Sills, why didn't they have quarterback calling their own plays anymore? Wouldn't they have Charlie, I think Mahomes does call his own plays. Andy Reid said in the Super Bowl, he audibled out of many calls that I had in that Super Bowl. I think they've made that offense to Mahomes, and I think the greatest thing ever happened to Mahomes was getting rid of Tyreek Hill. They're not obligated to throw to one primary target. He has the autonomy to go anywhere. How many Kansas City games do you see that guy has 13 different targets that he throws to? He's not obligated in any way to throw to one guy. Maybe Kelsey. Yeah, that whole thing last year has nothing to do with Brian Johnson. Well, Sills, he's not qualified. Well, fuck, don't hire him. That's a you thing. If you didn't trust him, why'd you hire him? I said it day one. Who is this guy? Quarterback coach? The only reason they did that was for control. They thought elevating a guy in the building was the way to go because they like to outsmart themselves or whatever. Okay? Top of the hour, we're going to look at week. I keep saying week. Day 10 of practice here. Brian was promoted because the options were limited at the time. I agree with what Xander said on that, Forrest. I do. Okay? Because you go deep like that, you don't have a chance. There's a smaller pool. All the good coordinators get gobbled up. Sure. So then you landed on Brian Johnson, who never called a play, and Nick. And you got what you deserved. And what's his name's telling you the guy's a great coach. They went in spite of him. So regardless of who was responsible, facts are staff, Nick, were not skilled enough to make in-game adjustments. Completely true. It's no different than the defense not adjusting to zag routes in the Super Bowl. Hey, Bob, you know what made the Patriots so freaking insane? Is that Belichick would have a game plan, and in-game he would absolutely have the best in-game adjustments of any coach I've ever seen. Remember something about, hey, could somebody do me a favor? Okay, can somebody do me a favor? Tell me what the Patriots defense was ranked last year. I think they won 4 games. Okay? If I'm not mistaken, I believed they won only 4 games. Can you tell me where they were ranked a year ago? 4 or 5 games the Patriots won. Okay? I mean, I don't remember how many ball games New England won. But what was their ranking defensively? Total defense last year. I'd be interested. Nick has the best winning percentage as a coach in the last 3 years. Man, what are we talking about? Is he perfect? No, the man is human. DRC, they went in spite of that guy. Okay, so the Patriots, get this. The Patriots won 4 games last year, and they were 7th in total defense. And you guys were 31st in pass defense. They won 4 games, and they were 7th. If they had any offense, they could have been in the AFC Championship game. They were 7th and won 4 games. One thing is for sure, Bill knows what he's doing. Okay? The thing may have run out of gas. But don't ever accuse that guy of not knowing defense. Okay? Dolphins made the playoffs, though. Didn't they win 10 games? That guy won 4. Sales, Bill's ability to scrap a game plan and adjust is a direct result of his experience. Absolutely, man, of his experience. Absolutely. When you hire young, you get young mistakes. That falls back on Howie's insecurity. Well, and the owner. But hey, to circle this back in the room here. Okay, to circle this back in the room here. I think you're going to see more of kind of Jalen running the offense like he ran it in 22. It's just going to look different. It's going to look different. That's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Okay? Some football to watch tonight. I know, we brought it up. It's going to start the exhibition season tonight. I think it's Carolina, New England, Detroit, and the Giants tonight. I heard Daniel Jones may even play tonight. They need to get that guy's ass out there on the field for sure. Guys, do me a favor. We are very proud to have a new relationship with our friends at BetUS. Here at JAKIB Sports, we are proud to put that all together here. And if you are looking for a new book this football season, BetUS is your place to go, especially when you got football this coming weekend. Make no mistake about it. Us teaming up with BetUS is absolutely sensational. Right now, get a 125% sign-up bonus. That's $2,000. And how about this one too? 200% in crypto bonuses. Just go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. This is where Michael Vick shops. This is where Michael Vick does all his business here, man. Fastest payouts in the business, 24/7 personalization, 365 days a year. You get top-notch service. Live wagers on all major games. Plus, BetUS can do this for you too. They can give you your own personalized account executive to handle your account. That's betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Do me a favor. Make sure you tell them Big Sil sent you.
Michael Vick at betus.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore, have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood days.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sil's National Football Show. Please hit the like button. Don't forget, Xander will join us at 3:30. Jason Cole, our Hall of Fame voter, will join us at 4:30. And then Ice Cube, he is going to join us. That'll be at 5 o'clock Eastern time. Xander, we missed the Super Chat as I was going to break. If we could put that up there, and I want to make sure I get James. Thank you, James. It absolutely means a lot that you do that for us. It kills me that everyone says Nick is a great offensive mind. That's not true. He's a really good wide receiver coach. He's clueless calling an offense. He's 13-11 calling the Eagle offenses. He got his success off the back of Steichen's genius and Frank Reich's. And will again off Kellen Moore. And by the way, what else made Nick a good play caller? Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers is cut from the same cloth as Jalen Hurts. Father was a high school legendary coach in Alabama. I mean, he knew exactly where to go with the ball. Why do you think one of the people that Jalen Hurts is really fond of and watching how he reads progression readings and pre-snap reads is Phillip Rivers? Phillip Rivers is one of the best progression readers the league's ever seen. I think he's better than Eli, actually. I think he's better than Eli. So at the end of the day, I mean, Big Sills, what would you think of Bill Belichick is hired as the Eagles coach next year? How far do you think we go? CJ, that's not happening. That organization would never give complete control like that to anybody. They can't even give it to your quarterback. They've just relented after 4 years giving it to Hurts. Do you think they're going to give it complete control? Get this. And CJ. Here's CJ's take here. Look at this. You got a guy that just went to the playoffs 3 years in a row. You got a guy that's got one of the highest win percentages, if not the highest win percentage in Eagle history. And they stripped him down of every single powerful thing he had in his toolbox. What makes you think they're going to give Bill Belichick, somebody from out of the organization, that power? They won't even give a guy with the biggest win percentage in Eagle history that power. What would possess them to do this? Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Big Sills, what is going on with Trent Williams? Trent Williams is sitting back watching this whole Brandon Ayuk thing play out. I mean, why in the world would the 49ers on August 8th move that guy? And I don't give a shit how upset people get. I'm not moving anybody if I'm this close and I know my Super Bowl window is going to start closing next year because I have to do the most important thing, pay the quarterback. I am not doing any of that. I don't care what the kid thinks. If you want to let him walk out the building, let him. But hey, if I let him walk out the building and we win a Super Bowl, more power to you. Get out. Fine. I'm not trading anything that helps me win. You know, it's one thing to trade a guy on your football team like Queasy Watkins. It's another thing to trade a 1,400-yard receiver on August 8th. Why? To the Patriots? To the Steelers? For what? A draft pick next year? How does that help you win a Super Bowl now? People think Kyle Shanahan is on some sort of GI Bill in San Francisco. That dude's got to win, man. And I mean it. Not just win. He's got to win it. Thank you, Prince, for keep reminding me. By the way, you too, Crowley. Hey, please hit the like button, guys. You guys are killing it here, man. First hour, over 132 likes. I really appreciate that. We all do too, by the way. Thank you. Appreciate that a lot. I'm not getting rid of anybody. That ain't happening. You know, look, unless this thing gets contentious, and it better be MFing words being thrown around, or I'm not dealing that guy. 49ers have replaced Ayuk with Robbie Anderson. Really? Robbie Anderson. I thought he was a punter. Robbie Anderson, you think replaces Brandon Ayuk? Brandon Ayuk would probably laugh at that and go, great. Dude, he's a camp body. That's a camp body. Okay? 32-9 until proven otherwise. That shows how bad your team is. Still, two players the Niners going to lose next year. Brandon Ayuk and Dre Greenlaw. Totally. I wouldn't be shocked also if Javon Hargrave is on that list. $20 million? Guy better have an all-pro year this year. Senor goes, the 49ers should trade Purdy for 3 first-rounders. Get some of those picks back. That'd be funny. That'd be funny. All right, let me get into some of the things that went on day 10 at camp. I had a nice conversation last night with Clint Hurt for a little bit. Jalen Carter taking edge rush snaps? Really? You're moving him around like Reggie White a little bit? Jalen Carter took edge rush snaps. You're trying to come up with ways to create pressure because you know who hasn't showed up. They're concerned about creating pressure. They're concerned about creating pressure. One thing Vic is doing right now. I'll get to the critical issue. Before I get into what went on, you haven't made a play in 3.5 weeks on defense. You haven't made a play. Nobody's made a play. Nobody's made a play. It's great to hear Hurts is doing well. The defense hasn't made a play. Hasn't made nothing. No play. Like one pick or something. Just nothing. Nobody's flashing. Nobody's anything. It's kind of like vanilla paper. I mean, you've made no plays. There's a ton of matchups and personnel groupings going in at linebacker. Almost every other series and every other play, you have a brand new group going in. You're moving Carter around everywhere now to try to create some pressure. All these things I told you, Vic sees them too. The backs are going to be a key component in the pass game. Now, here's where you have to temper that. Now, we'll get a better look at that, I think, against the Ravens. Why do you think the backs are getting a lot of throws to them right now in camp? You guys have an idea? Why do you think they're getting a lot of look? A lot of looks in pass catching right now. Why do you think you're seeing the backs catch the ball? Gainwell and Saquon. Jalen needs to use his outlets. Quick passes to beat the blitz. Blitz beaters. Beat the blitz. No. Too deep Vic. Too deep Vic. What's Kellen doing to teach Jalen? Go with what the defense is giving me. And in that particular defense that Vic is trying to develop, it's too deep Vic. Be prepared, folks. The Sean Desai defense is returning, along with the Jonathan Gannon defense. It's returning. Too deep. Everything underneath. You're going to see quarterbacks this year with such a high percentage of completion. It's going to blow your mind. You're going to see guys like when Derek Carr came in and had a 78% completion percentage. And it's going to blow your doors off. But the question will be from 20 to 20, red zone. Okay? Control and contain. Too deep Vic. So you have to temper what you're seeing in practice right now because, the backs are getting a ton of work because that's what Vic's defense is giving them in practice. So is that something you're going to see on a daily basis? I really don't think there's a lot of man-cover corners out there in the league today. You know how many Sauce Gardners and Patrick Surtains there are in the league? 6. So you're going to see a lot of that too deep. Okay? This is an offensive league. The majority of the money is not spent on the defensive side of the football anymore. This is not just an Eagle deal. This is a league deal. You're either young, or you're young and cheap, or you're just cheap. Okay? Or you're just cheap. Okay? It's just, why do you keep drafting cats that aren't at least half ready? Like this Anaya Smith kid, can't catch. I haven't heard shit from him. I heard, please, and you know what's going to suck? There's a Howie Roseman pick. You're not really going to waste a roster spot on that guy, are you? Put him on the practice squad. Wait a minute, Stills, what if someone takes him? Who fucking cares? I'm not wasting a needed roster spot at an edge rusher or linebacker or wide receiver on my team just because Howie drafted somebody. That's ass backwards thinking. Well, he could be dude, I'm sick of the prospects. You're either a good freaking football team or you're not. You can't waste roster spots because you drafted someone. Either he's good or he's not. So you're going to really waste 2 roster spots on Johnny Wilson and Anaya Smith. That's a waste. Dude, Brandon Graham makes more sense. Brandon Graham makes more sense of a roster spot than those 2 guys combined. I'm not doing that. Remember, make the tough cut, Howie. Even though you're guys, make the tough cut if they're not good enough to help you right now. Howie has so much of a foresight about next year and the year after. that sometimes it clouds his judgment on the present. Sills, 2 deep only works if you are really good at tackling. Hey, dude, the league is not good at tackling anymore. If the opposing team gets the ball out quick, and we don't eliminate the yak, we'll surrender both a high completion percentage and big plays. I think that's what the NFL wants. Okay? Wilson isn't a wasted roster spot, though. That's a guy you simply cannot risk putting on the practice squad. Hey, Sam, I said I'm not doing 2. Wilson and Smith. Wilson and Smith should deserve a roster spot when I'm thin at tackle, offense or defense, and thin at edge, and thin at linebacker? Really? I should keep those guys to sacrifice my defense. No way. No way. I need help over there. I need help on defense. Howie did not address the defense at 2 levels. D-line and linebackers. Depth in the D-line, edge and interior, and linebackers. Did not address it. Dude, by the way, all you Devin White lovers, this guy looks terrible. What I'm being told. He looks terrible. I saw that interview. It doesn't mean shit to me. Only words. I think he's this. I think he talks a lot. He thinks he's better than he is. He ain't. I think he talks a ton. The mouth that this guy has, the production doesn't match it. Shit, Jeremiah Trotter's out playing him. You want to know? Jeremiah Trotter's out playing Devin White. Jeremiah Trotter's out playing White. Zach Bond's out playing White. You know who the 2 linebackers that should be starting right now for you? Maybe. Trotter and Zach Bond. And I'm not saying those guys are great at all. But at least they're making plays. Devin White looks shitty. Nobody wants to say it. I will. The guy don't look good. Please, guys, hit the like button. Hey, guys, I'll tell you one thing that I got to say this about Jeremiah Trotter Jr. I think he's better than what I thought. I think his instincts carry him further than his ability at times. He knows what the hell he's doing. He knows proper run fits. He may not be the most athletic guy, and he's not the fastest guy. But you know what he does do? He makes up for it by not having a lack of football IQ. His football IQ might be the best of any linebacker they have on that roster. He's better than I thought. Now, again, he's got a long way to go in his career. But he's going to get an opportunity to play. You know why? The other guys are so bad. Dude, hey, maybe Devin White is a shitty practice player. That's all you can hope on now, is that he gets into football games and he's just one of those shitty practice. There are guys like that. I heard Hugh Douglas was a terrible practice player. Got him into a game, though. He knocked out quarterbacks. I know a ton of guys like that. Jerome never really liked practicing like that. He wasn't a practice guy. He despised it. But you put him in a football game, the guy's the second coming of Mean Joe Green. Okay? When you don't have to think about everything, you do. You can play faster. Angelo, Angelo, that is more of a comment and more of a statement than you know. When you don't know a technique or you don't know something, you're always late and you're behind on the play, and you're always chasing. When you do something over a period of time, you create instincts, you create anticipation, you know exactly what little techniques and tricks you can do. You become a veteran. That's why veterans play in Vic Fangio's defense. When you're athletic and you don't know what to do, your athleticism makes up for it. I'll give you a great example. Junior Seau was horrific in a scheme. Used to drive Rodney Harrison crazy. Junior would just drive Rodney Harrison crazy. You know why? This is what Seau would do. By the way, Seau's a Hall of Famer. And one of the top linebackers of all time. But here's what Seau would do. He'd run himself completely out of the play, out of the scheme of the defense, but he was so freaking athletic, he'd get in a pursuit angle, and he'd run that guy down 25 yards down the field. And Rodney Harrison goes, man, he went a long way to make that freaking play. When if he just played inside the scheme, he could have went only 8 yards to make the play. Used to drive him nuts. But when you got a guy like Trotter, because he was schooled by his own man, you know how many, think about something here. Think about something here with Trotter. How many game films do you think Jeremiah Trotter broke down of Jeremiah playing at Clemson after every Saturday night game? What do you think a guy who was an all-pro linebacker for the Eagles and what that guy must have done for his son through the lenses of a guy who played all them years in the league? What do you think that must have been like versus listening to your linebacker coach? Your father's on the phone with you. You're probably doing a Zoom and you're watching game film together and your dad's breaking it down going, see this here? See that false step? Can't have that. You're not fast enough. His dad was probably honest with him. You can't make false steps. Dean stinks at his footwork. He's terrible. Why did he get away with it at Georgia? Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. They were in front of him. You can make false steps. He's athletic. He's a little dude. Those guys are gargantuan. You put him in an NFL football team where you don't have guys that are that talented, you're going to get murdered. And to sit there and say that he's covering tight ends in the NFL like they had in the SEC, I don't think so. Can't cover. And he can't take pressure. And he can't take guards on. Why are you on the roster? I mean, he makes no sense. It's another wasted roster spot. How many times do you think Jeremiah Trotter broke down game film with his son? See what you're doing here? You got to jam that tight end, man. That kid gets a free release on you. You don't have the speed to catch up with him. He's going to go down the sidelines on you. You got to stay with him, and if anything, you have to force him back inside the traffic. When you're talking to your son like that, and you're an all-pro guy who played for the Eagles like that, versus a linebacker coach, and I'm not saying Clemson doesn't have good coaches. They do. Dabo does a nice job down there. That's a heck of a program. And they produce a lot of nice NFL talent down there. Nate Wiggins, I think, is going to be a fine ball player. Clemson put some nice people in the building. Okay? There's a lot of nice Clemson players around every NFL facility. Dabo does a nice job. He recruits Southeastern Conference players in the ACC. And I would say this to you. Could Trotter have played linebacker at Alabama? Probably not. But he could have played at A&M. Okay? Could he have played at Georgia? Probably not. He could have played at Auburn. Okay, so you're in there, just not quite there. Okay, you know what I mean? I mean, he may not play at Tennessee, but he's going to play at South Carolina. I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot to like. And I think I heard Xander say it this morning on Birds 365. Are you shocked Johnny's better? I am. According to Clint Hurt, man, Clint loves the kid. He says this guy's playing the best or some of the best we have. I'm like, that's not saying much. He goes, no comment. Dude, your two best backers performing in camp right now are Zach Bond and Jeremiah Trotter. Don't forget, 4:30, Jason Cole will join us, our Hall of Fame voter, insider, NFL, Yahoo Sports, and Ice Cube at 5 o'clock. Let's go over to our friend that is doing a great job with Birds 365 and with John McMullen. Guys are breaking it down each and every single day, talking about the injuries and where they're going, how they're going to prepare for Friday's game against the Ravens, what potentially we will see. Our friend Xander Krause. And Xander, appreciate you doing it, brother. By the way, man, channel's blowing up, man, the last couple of days, and we can't thank people enough. Guys, please hit the like button. We're already destroying the likes, and you guys are insane.
Big Sills, what's up, man? Thanks, everybody. And you're right. Big couple of days on the channel, a lot of new members, people joining as a member. I love it. Can't thank everybody enough. Like I said earlier today on Birds 365, we are not a venture-backed company. We are not like we are supported by the people that watch us every single day, the advertisers like BetUS who join us. And we can't thank everybody enough. It goes a long way in helping keep us on the air, continuing to make content on this team every single day. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you all. Appreciate it very much.
Put that mic closer to you, man. You're kind of fading out a little bit if you can.
You can't hear me? You got me?
Well, yeah, just a little low there. All right.
What's going on with this thing, man?
I got you here, man. Listen, right. I heard you guys say something this morning. And you know what? Again, I want to talk more about the final comment about Hurts and him getting control of the offense when it comes to pass protection. Brady has said it numerous times. For a guy to become a great progression reader and a guy who can read defenses, if he's not setting the pass protection, you're limiting him because the pass protection is what he sees and where he thinks the pressure's coming from, not where Jason Kelce is. Now, I also want to preference this. Am I in any way saying there's a poor relationship with Jalen and Jason Kelce? Absolutely not. You asked a question today, and that made me realize something. This was a Stoutland, Kelce, and an organizational decision that they would not have the quarterbacks handling the pass protection. I think that limits their development because nowhere in the league, I checked, where you have an offensive lineman calling pass protection for their quarterback. Not even Caleb Williams is not going to be calling his own pass protection in Chicago, and he's a first-year starter. So, I mean, how did you take it when John said that was more of a Kelce thing? I think Stoutland had to be involved with that. How do you go forward now when you know now that Jalen's saying, I've been waiting for this, I've wanted this, and it's finally here? He really now completely has control of this offense.
Yeah, he really does. I don't view it as a negative thing. I think, I asked John the question we talked about yesterday with when Carson Wentz was here, what was the breakdown? And he said Jason Kelce called the protections for Carson Wentz as well. So maybe this is just a Kelce thing where you have a whole center and you use him and you take some pressure off the quarterback, let him worry about everything else. But I do think you're right in that you might not be setting your quarterback up properly to really get the most out of your offense when you don't have the protections in his hands. And I think Jalen knows that. And that's part of the reason he made that comment. I didn't, because I was thinking about what you said yesterday. We're like, is it not a slight on Kelce, but is it sort of, no, it's not. I don't think it is that. But
I'm not either. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's uncommon to see that and hear that a quarterback doesn't have complete control over the pass protection and also the routes that his receivers are running. So here's Xander. Here's what I'm saying. Maybe when he gets to the line of scrimmage after he says set and Kelce goes down, all of a sudden they change the where the pressure's coming from, weak side or strong side. Hurts sees something different and thinks the pressure's coming from this side where Kelsey has already called fan protection towards the weak side or strong side, and you're sitting here going, wait a minute here. I think it's coming from here. And the center thinks it's coming from here. That's a disconnect. And it's a communication disconnect. I'm not saying a friendship. I'm not saying lack. I'm just, the quarterback sees it differently, standing up,
It's
looking at it versus just guy that's over like this.
Yeah, no doubt. It's two different sets of eyes, just like you and I see things differently, or me and anybody else in the chat. It's you're spot on. So I think it's a good thing that Hurts gets it. I guess it's something to watch, right? Like, how good is he at it? Is he going to be, is it going to help him with the blitz pickup? Maybe it's a positive thing. Maybe it helps him. You think it will?
You know why? The last time he had decision-making processes was 22. And the last time Jalen Hurts
I don't know if he had him in 22.
Wait a minute. I'm going to show you. Dude, when you run an RPO, nobody telling you who to hand the ball off to or to throw it when you have run-pass option.
That's very true.
Options.
Hurts was a weapon in the RPO because it was all in his hands. You're right.
And remember what Wink said? We knew they weren't committed to running it. And when they took the other weapon out, that's when you knew he didn't have control of the offense. So I'm talking about it's going to look different, Xander, but he's going to have more control this year like he did in 22. The RPO's being taken away by Barkley. So you add that dynamic to it. Look, if I'm a coordinator, I walk to the line of scrimmage and I see this. Well, shit, Barkley's back there. I gotta protect the A gaps, and I gotta know there's any time that this guy could run the ball between the tackle. This guy's a top flight back. I can't just cheat like I would and walk back because I know the only threat was the quarterback. Now I've got to keep my water here, and I gotta wait. And I'm looking over at AJ and Devontae at the numbers now. You're keeping a defense honest now with having a guy like Barkley. He's a hell of a decoy back there because without him back there, it's going to be the 22 offense all over again.
So do you think it's a good thing they're going to get away from the RPO? I don't know. Maybe they won't fully, but do you think it's a good thing because it will give Hurts the opportunity to keep things in his hands, but in a more traditional pro style offense that might be more able to be used on a longer term timeline? I don't know how long the RPO works in the NFL. Like, it worked in 22, but if you were going back to it year after year after year, I think teams start to adjust to that and fit and stall and, know how to stop it. So I think it's a positive thing to put it back in Hurts' hands, but keep him in that more traditional NFL style offense.
I think they've replaced it with read option. I think I've seen a lot more or heard a lot more read option. It's kind of a pseudo RPO.
Yeah.
Where you're doing this. They're not throwing it. You're either going to hand it to him.
It is. It's a pseudo RPO. That's a good.
It's a pseudo RPO that because you now have the weapon in Barkley. Okay. See, Barkley, here's Barkley's influence in the offense. Pass protection, read option, and obviously running the ball. Which means what? All three of those things dictate time of possession. If Barkley is healthy and he plays 15 games this year, and the Eagles are in the top 5 in time of possession, dude, they're going to go a long way.
They're going to win a lot of football games.
They're going to win a ton of games, and they're going to –
because that also minimizes how much that defense is on the field, and that's your liability on the football team compared to the offense. So if they do that, boy, I mean, the things that you just said, if they're top 5 in that time of possession, I think my prediction of 13 wins is going to be right on the number. I mean, I know everybody called me crazy or a homer or eagle-colored glasses, but if this offense is able to click and get, let's say 30 points a game or somewhere in that range and control the ball for a majority of the time, I mean, it's going to be tough to beat this team. It really is going to be tough to beat this team. I mean, so we're going to see, but look, I love my prediction of 13 wins. I'm going to be laughing all the way to the bank, Big Sills. What'd you have on that? 7, 8, 9?
You have a Super Bowl. You have a Super Bowl offense, but let me get to now Two Deep Vic. And let's go over here to Two Deep Vic now. I mean, hey, dude, be prepared. This thing's going to be zone defense, 2 deep, and you're going to be a ton of completions.
Well, we knew that.
And a ton of offense that's going to be put on that defense. And by the way, Xander, I'm going to say it on August 8th. Dude, Devin White is blowing in camp. Okay? He's blowing in camp. I watched that interview. This guy's all yap, man.
I like the way Howie does business, though.
Jeremiah Trotter's out playing him.
Well, I don't know about that. He's been good. He's been the Mike linebacker. He's pretty solid in coverage because he's fast. He's not instinctive, and that's the problem with him. So when you're a linebacker and you take one false step, you're never going to get back into position. I don't care how fast you are. That's the problem with Devin White, or that's the concern. I think he's going to be all right, though. I mean, I'm not as high on him as a lot of people are, but I don't need him to be. I don't need him to be the greatest linebacker in the league. I just need him to be competent. I need you to be mediocre. I will say I'm kind of excited about Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Apparently he's looked like a better version of Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean is falling off a cliff.
From what I hear, he's getting more reps.
He's getting a lot more reps. Let me answer this. Forrest says, Xander, the goal is to give out 17 Barkley jerseys. It's actually 20, Forrest, because if they go to the playoffs, we're going to do it in the playoffs too, obviously. So the goal would be to give out 20 jerseys would be epic. So that's the goal.
That's Xander Cook. There you go, baby. Marshall,
what up, Big Marsh?
Appreciate that, man. Hey, how about this? So the greatest statistic of all time, of course, is the completions or the non-interception by that guy ESP, man, who broke a record in Eagle camp that stood the test of time. One thing I will say, let me be Big Sills here. So that means your defense hasn't done dick for 3 weeks. I mean, dude. Can you make a play? I mean, anything? You made one pick in 3 weeks? Hey, there's a reason that Vic is having multiple combinations at corner, and you're moving Jalen Carter and even trying him at edge to try to get some pressure. I'm like, dude, make a play, no? Are you concerned about the fact that team – now, again, maybe there's I know a ton of guys who don't practice well too. But for 3 weeks, dude, you don't make a play?
Listen, we're going to say real quick I think, remember we have that joint practice next week, but you're playing the Patriots. So it's like that offense sucks. So you're not going to learn that much, but no, you're right. I mean, it's definitely a concern, but Big Sills, coming into the year, we knew that the defense was a liability. They're also playing an offense that we're hoping is a top 5 offense in the league. So there's context that can be added to it. I see what you're saying. I mean, you don't want to have the 31st ranked pass defense in the NFL again. That's going to be too big to overcome, if you have Super Bowl aspirations, but I'm not going to sound the alarm on them yet. I want to see some games being played. I want to see what Vic does. My concern isn't with Vic Fangio. My concern is he doesn't have the guys he needs to have a competent defense. And you're right. He does do that, bend but don't break defense. That's his entire style. But, it's going to come down. Those linebackers are a big piece of a Vic Fangio defense, and they're just not very good here. So we're going to see how it goes out. But if we can do what you said earlier, shit, man, you're going to be all right with that defense. If that offense is putting up 30 a game and in top 5 in possession, you're not going to worry about that defense so much because it's going to be hard to it's going to be hard to put up the amount of points that teams need to put up to beat us, if the offense is humming like that. So, but where it's going to really matter is the playoffs. That's when margins get tighter. Defense needs to come up with a stop, and we'll see how they play it. But yeah, it's a little concerning, I guess you could say. It's a double-edged sword because you're like, I'm excited about the offense, but every time they have a great day, then you're like, do we worry about the defense? If the defense is good, you're like, man, does the offense suck? So it's a double-edged sword. I got to wait till a game is played before
So you'd have more concern. You'd have more concern, and I guess so would I, if I heard this. Damn, the defense is doing really great and the offense is sucking.
Yeah. I mean,
we'd have more concern with that, right?
That would be a lot more concerning given the amount of talent on the offensive side of the football, no?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Xander, are you going to give 2 roster spots to Johnny Wilson and Aniyah Smith?
I think the Eagles are going to. Well, you pigeonhole yourself like John.
Lack of depth at D-tackle and lack of depth at linebacker.
Apparently those backup DTs have looked pretty good in camp. We had Jeff Kerr on this morning who's been at practice for 8 of the 10 practices. He said Moro Ajomo has looked very good in camp. He was a draft pick last year out of Texas. And Marlon Tuipulotu, who, I don't know what he's going to be, but apparently they've looked serviceable. You got to remember, these are backups. You don't need them to be great, but I'd like an extra guy in that room. But I don't know.
Wait a minute. Howie spoiled me with Linval Joseph and Adama Sue.
Well, if we remember, those came late in the year. So if we need to, talent acquisition season is not over yet. It's not, you're not at your prime period of doing it, but it's not over yet. So Howie could still make a moves on the wide receiver front, though. I like Johnny Wilson. I don't think that's a bad move. I think where you pigeonhole yourself is they're probably not going to cut a draft pick in the modern NFL. Cutting draft picks has become, it's a lot different. Teams don't like to do it. So what do you do with the receivers? Do you keep, I don't know. You're the whole wide receiver 3 group is nothing special where, if you cut Paris Campbell, is it that big of a loss? Or you cut John Ross, is it that big of a loss? I don't think so. So they're going to keep the young guys. I think Johnny Wilson adds an element to the offense that's valuable with the size and the catch radius. And he's pretty good route running. So if you watch his tape in college, he doesn't run like a 6'7" dude. He runs like a 6'3" dude. And it's pretty good. So I'm not gonna shit on that yet.
I think your wide receiver group reminds me of 3 dudes standing at Wawa trying to get a Slurpee. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, we also have AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. So what the heck's your point?
Well, I'm just saying you're playing with 10 versus 11 every day because you don't have anybody over there. Our defense couldn't stop a nosebleed with Tyrod Taylor at the helm, giving me for being a little bit reserved when it comes to how great this offense has been doing.
It's true. Daniel, you're spot on, brother. You're not wrong for thinking that at all. You're right. You're right on the number. And I think what I said about the defense is going to apply to the offense as well. Let's see it. We got to see it in a game. I mean, look, here's the other thing though, Daniel.
Yep. You muted it.
You got me now?
Yep.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
The problem with that, Daniel, we can only analyze where we are right now. Unfortunately, I can't analyze the offense versus an NFL defense yet. So what we've heard right now has been positive. That's all I can give you. You're right, though. You shouldn't go overboard on it yet. We got to see what they're able to do.
August 8th. I'm going to ask you this every day. Justin Simmons.
No. They're not going to do it. I would be all right with it, but I don't think they're going to do it. So, we'll see.
I personally don't think you have the right guys at safety. If you had better linebackers, I think you get away with what you got back there.
Well, why?
You got
not
as
like
much,
safety? You don't like
as much inexperience as you have, except for Gardner Johnson. I get Reed, but Reed's Reed. I mean,
yeah, he's just a guy. He's not an impact guy. Yeah.
He's not horrible. He's not.
No, he's not horrible at all. I mean, his numbers were good last year. He was a solid player out there, but he's not a difference maker. But you're not going to have difference makers all over the field. It's just a reality when you have this offense.
Talking about somebody good.
Well, this is why some people, not everybody, actually a majority of people didn't, but you could argue that Saquon Barkley wasn't the right signing when you have an offense as good as it was, and you go over and maybe you sign the guy Xavier McKinney who got $17 million. And then you bolster that back end. But they didn't go that route. How, this team values offense, and it's not just Howie. It's from the top. It's Jeffrey Lurie. They value offense, and they've shown that. So you're not going to have, top caliber guys on the defense all over the field. You're just not. You got to figure out a way to win with it. We did in 22. We got all the way to the end in 22, and we almost got a win, but we didn't. And that's what they're going to continue to do. So I wouldn't I wouldn't be excited for a big changing of the guard coming soon where they spend buku bucks on, linebackers and safeties in Philly. It's just not going to happen. It's very unlikely.
No, I would never expect them to ever go outside of who they are and what they do, because they've made it very clear who they are and what they do. They do a lot of great things. They surely get in the way of themselves here. By the way, please hit the like button here. Why is it so hard for the Eagles to just say that Mekhi Becton's the right guard?
Well, I don't think they know yet. I mean, I think he's looked better there, but he's played tackle his whole life. I mean, let's see what this guy can do. I think he's in the running. By the way, the depth chart that's put out is put out by the communications department. It's Bob Lang. It's not the coaches. It's the first depth chart to do it because they have to do it, based on.
What do you think? Bob sat on the shitter and made that?
No, I don't think he sat on the shitter, but I don't think the coaches were like, okay, make sure you don't put any, like, they were like, these are our guys. They're reading the same reports we are, probably the communications department, are watching the practice, and they put who they put. They had Tyler Steen as the starting right guard on the depth chart. So I don't, we're going to see on Mekhi Becton. I'm optimistic on him. I like the size. I like the talent. I like the upside. but he's never played guard in his life. And he was kind of a letdown in New York with the Jets, coming out of the draft. So he's still a guy you have to wait and see on. I don't think they're just going to give him the position. I don't think earning it is a big problem. Do you?
No.
Well,
no.
Then what's your point?
My point is, Steen's been injured and he hasn't played at all in the exhibition season. How do you think he's going to get ready? Now, there's still time. So maybe it is still early before they haven't even played the first exhibition game yet. So, but dude, I don't think Steen's that. I don't know.
I don't either. I'm not sold on Tyler Steen.
I don't think that guy, and that's a Bama boy, right?
Yeah. Yep. He was a Bama guy. Yeah.
I just don't see it quite yet. Now I'm gonna lead on Jeff Stout.
WCBJJ says making the depth chart on the shitter.
Making
you only get that with big sales, everybody. Wait, Akbar Divine, he brings up a good point. Watch Akbar. This is why I don't bring it up. Ready? Zay, why you never tell Sills that Reed scored 14th in PFF and Simmons scored in the 40s per Johnny Mac?
Because one guy's an all-pro and the other guy was making tackles on a defense that was 31st in pass defense. You're going to have those guys make a lot of tackles back there. How can a guy be ranked 14th on the 31st ranked pass defense? That's like telling me I am the tallest guy in the land of little trees. What are you fucking telling me? You were the second worst pass defense in the league, and you're trying to sell me on anybody who played well back there last year. Give me a break. How's that for you, Akbar? You're 31st in pass defense. Good grief. Okay. No, he's great. Okay. All right, Xander. Here's another one. Tell me who I am here. Beep, 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 beep. By the way, some of you, that's Morse code for SOS. I'm sending an SOS out to Bryce Huff, just in case anyone has seen him. We have the Carpathia, and we're getting ready to try to save the passengers on the Titanic. Can somebody please send boats? I'm 3 hours out. 3 hours? Holy shit, I'll be at the bottom of the Atlantic. Somebody better send an SOS to John McMullen or some smoke signals, because that dude right now, man, holy shit. Help me, Xander. Help me.
Yeah, you're right. And the worst part is the goalpost is moving on him. Originally when he was signed, he was going to be the 3-down guy that Vic Fangio needed. You could drop him into coverage. You could do a lot of stuff with him. Now we're back to just, we just need him to get after the passer, for $17 million. And that's what you're going to get from him. I don't even know if you're going to get that. He got 10 sacks last year. Everyone keeps pointing to that, but the Jets stunk last year. How many of those sacks came late in the game? I don't know exactly the stats. So we'd have to see. I know he had a couple of sacks, I think, against the Eagles last year, but I don't know. We're going to see on him, man. I'm closer to you in this than I'd like to admit. I'm getting a little nervous on Bryce Huff because if he doesn't contribute, boy, that pass rush is going to struggle. But we had Josh Davis on this morning on Birds 365. He was great. He has a good channel on YouTube, the Philly Special Show, blown up. Great, does really, really great work. And he's like, it's a good point, though. If he gets, forget 15, if he gets 10 sacks and the defense has to think about him or the offensive line has to think about him, that's going to create tons of lanes for Jalen Carter. If Jalen Carter is getting single covered, he's going to wreak havoc on that interior. So if you can create those mismatches, it doesn't all have to come down on Huff. He does have other guys on that line that will help him. So we'll see. But you're right. Bryce Huff has been a whole lot of nothing so far in camp. But look, we're 10 days into camp. We're going to forget about what we talked about on August 8th when the game starts. So I don't really care. All right. If he goes out there and has 2 sacks for Green Bay, guess who's not going to be saying SOS? Big Sills.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. How about this one? What have y'all heard about Julian Akwar? I don't know. Who is
Julian
that?
Akwar. No, you haven't heard much, Abraham. You haven't heard much at all from him.
Who? Hey, wait a minute. I want you to do me a favor, too, from now on when John McMullen says that this guy's a great pass rusher. No. He had a great season in his 5 years. He had not a great pass rusher. He had a great season. He's had 3 previous. He's not a great pass rusher. Great pass rushers are consistent year in and year out, not 1 year. That's not a great pass rusher yet. Reddick is a great pass rusher because he's done it 5 years or 4 years in a row.
And that's all he's good at.
Okay. At least he's good at one thing.
Yeah.
And I don't have to send SOSs out. Hey, can you do me a favor? Please send the flares.
Boy,
dude, we're almost at the flares now with Huff.
If Big Sills is right on Bryce Huff, folks, we're gonna have a problem on defense because you're just gonna have nothing coming from the edges. I mean, I like Josh Sweat and all, but he's not an impact type of guy. He's a rotational guy. He's a solid player. He's not an impact player. So if Bryce Huff is not going to go out and get you 12 to 15 sacks, I mean, you could be in trouble on that edge. They might need to go and get somebody in the year that can contribute. I mean, Brandon Graham's out there, but he's 36. I mean, you're 35. I mean, you're not going to rely on him. Nolan Smith is a first-round pick, but I don't think you can rely on him. You're in trouble if Bryce Huff can't contribute.
Let me say this to you, man. This thing here with this Nolan Smith is getting glossed over too much.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Hey, I don't want to hear, well, he's looking decent in camp. No, kid. They drafted you as the heir apparent to truly take over for Reddick. You're taken as a specialized pass rusher. And when I hear people going like this, he's getting a little better, put a little weight. Hey, fuck that. You drafted that guy in the first round. You're talking about a UDFA with the way you talk about Nolan Smith. That, to me, this guy has to step up. Even if you get 10 from Bryce Huff, he's got to be between 8 and 10. He can't just be this, Andrew. Well, he's a young player and he's developed. Dude, last year they were looking for edge rushers and they were looking for pressure and they didn't get it from him. Now, they didn't put him out there. I don't know why they didn't. They weren't good. And now all of a sudden we're like, well, Nolan Smith is still learning and he's in the process. You're like, homeboy, this ain't a GI Bill. Dude, we got
They're
a lot
not going
of
to give up on him, though, man. They're
on.
not. I mean, Brandon Graham was a 13th overall pick for the Eagles, and it took him 4 or 5 years to get going. I'm not saying to give him 4 or 5 years. I'm just saying they're not going to give up on the player. I agree with you. He should be contributing to the football team, but I'm just saying they're going to give him time. As much as you may or may not like that, they're going to give him time for sure. And to me, he doesn't. I don't know. My philosophy is not what the Eagles is. I prefer. I don't like these undersized, fast edge rushers. I prefer the big guys that can wreck a game, that are powerful, that can set an edge, and that have more to their game. So, but the Eagles don't like that. They go like Hassan Reddick and Nolan Smith types, which that's their prerogative. I'm not control of the team, so I can only analyze it. But you wonder what we'll see what Nolan Smith can do.
Here's Prince here. I swear people didn't play football. If you watched last season, Reed sucked. He was getting burned and arriving late to plays. It's easy to tackle when are the second person to the guy. PFF stat, please help me out there. That's right. Hey, when the next
Prince,
thing is
you just spent $10 to give Sileo 3 days worth of content. All right, Prince. You just gave him Prince, 3 days worth of content.
Justin Simmons, Prince. Justin Simmons.
He's about to sign
Instead, you know what you're going to get with those safeties? You're going to get a reach around with those safeties. Between Reed Blankenship and Chicken Wing Gardner Johnson. By the way, it's great to see that he's back out there practicing again. Holy shit, man.
He wasn't out there yesterday.
Oh, he wasn't? Oh,
no.
Thank you. Hey, that's comforting. Hey.
Prince, did you have to do it, Prince? Did you have to do it?
Hey, Xander, how about this? I'm going to do something that I despise, that in my years doing broadcasting, I freaking hate doing this. I'm going to go against my word here. Why do I think this is going to be the year of Dallas Goedert?
I think you're right.
I think he's had a sensational camp. I do, man.
Yeah,
I think he's had a
Kellen Moore likes tight ends. But also, by the way, you were talking about that third wide receiver a lot. They've been running a lot of 12 personnel with 2 tight ends on the field, and Grant Calcaterra has had a good camp so far.
Yes.
No, now remember, I'm not going to, sit here and tell you Grant Calcaterra is going to be this great impact on the team, but the questions on him were never that, like, he's always been a very good receiver of the football as a tight end. He was all the way back to his college days. The question on him was that the concussion thing, and that's why he slipped in the draft. Took him a little bit to turn the corner. Now, if he takes one crack to the dome, he's done. He's gone. So I hope it doesn't happen. Obviously, God forbid. We never want to see that happen, especially head injuries, which make me sick to my stomach. I remember when I saw Tua go down and his finger, I literally almost puked that night when I was watching that on the TV. I struggle with watching that stuff. But, I think that's going to minimize the use of the wide receiver 3. And we'll see what, I think you're right. I think Goddard has a big year this year. I kind of pushed back on John about this. And I'm like, look, Goddard's going to have a big year. He's like, oh, you can't with AJ and Devontae. Stop. He's a top 5 tight end regardless of the numbers. And I'm like, look, I think Goddard has a big year this year, right? He's at 830 yards. That's the most amount of yards he's ever had in his season. That's not a top 5 tight end production. I don't care how you slice it.
And at $15 million.
I know, and everybody gets so mad at me in the chat when I say I think he's overrated. I don't think the player is overrated. I think his use on this team has been drastically overrated. He's not been a top 5 tight end on this team. If you went and put him on the Chiefs or somebody else, yeah, he would be a top 5 tight end. I know he's got the talent, but 830 yards is not top 5 tight end. I'm sorry. It's just not. So I think he has a big year this year, though. I think Kellen Moore's smart. I think he's going to be like, look, we got to get this guy into the offense. Use that middle of the field. It'll open things up for AJ and Devontae on the outside. I like Dallas Goedert. I think you're right projecting he has a big year this year.
Reed was literally the best cover safety before the collapse per Pro Football Focus. Way to read half the book. He led the league in all pro votes per safety before
All right,
the collapse.
I got a fundraiser. We're going to do a fundraiser for charity. Bald Eagle versus Prince in a boxing match. Big Sills is the referee. If I can get Big Sills off his couch and out of the Dan cave, we'll have him referee it. Prince versus what's his name? Bald Eagle, baby.
Hey, Bald Eagle, when the Titanic first sailed, man, it was considered a luxury ship. And when it went down and was at the bottom, it was just considered trash. So you got to know the whole journey. You know what I'm saying? Not just half the journey. Hey, everyone's having shrimp and caviar halfway through, and now you're fish food. So, I mean, hey, Bald Eagle, it's the full trip, kid. Go with me here. Hey, by the way, I want to hook you up on Jalen Hunt, or Jalix Hunt, is it?
Yeah.
Is that the kid's name?
Yes, that's his name. That's his name, Big Sills. Do your homework, all right, Big Sills?
Well, I only do homework on people that are actually going to contribute. So wait, Jalix Hunt? It was a Jalen Hunt. Okay. You know what he reminds me of? He reminds me kind of a experimental plane. You know the one that John Denver put in the ocean? It's either going to take off and fly, or it's going to do exactly like the John Denver experimental plane. It's either going to fly or it's going to hit the ocean. That's what this kid as an experiment is for the Eagles. He's either going to hit and turn into be one of the best pass rushers in the league, or this guy's going to crash and burn. There's no gray area. He's not going to just be decent.
No.
But you know what? A 3rd-round pick? That's pretty high, homie. That's a pretty big pick for a guy who played at Colgate.
Colgate's generous. I don't even think it was Colgate. I think it was like, what was it, Houston Christian, which is like a new
No, he
school?
started at Colgate and then went to like Houston Christian.
Oh, did he? He started at Colgate. See, now
I think he was a safety.
Yeah, apparently he's looked okay in camp. I mean, was it yeah?
Hey,
See, I knew it wasn't Colgate.
Oh, Cornell. Oh,
excuse me, I Colgate. I'm like, this guy didn't go to Colgate.
Excuse me, I didn't get my Ivy League Dakota bring out.
Yeah, I knew he didn't go to Colgate. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. I knew he came from an Ivy Toothpaste University. No, get out of here, Big Sills.
We got MMA
these guys are now Princess. We can do MMA as well. Sills does hate reading. That's not his strong suit. All right, he's a Miami.
Colgate, Cornell. Does it fucking matter?
Bald Eagle got to go 12 rounds with the champ. Prince says, "I will win Xander hands down." So maybe we'll arrange the battle of Prince and Bald Eagle. Make it happen. My money. I don't know if I want to pick yet. My money's on Prince because he's a member of the channel. Bald Eagle's just a guy. Become a member and maybe I'll give you some.
Yeah, there you go. Come on, Bald Eagle, man up here. By the way, do you remember watching that one cartoon when you were a kid? It was called Casper the Ghost. It's kind of like
I hated that show. I hated that movie.
Okay, Casper the Ghost, right?
Of course, that's a Big Sills movie.
Okay. Well, no, because I'm watching that movie play out now at Novacare, and the guy playing the leading role is Nakobe Dean. And I'm just like,
Dean featuring Bryce Huff.
Hey, tell me something. Why is that? Hey, dude, he's getting killed in practice.
Yeah, he's struggling immensely. He's not looking good in coverage. And then you just, everybody's like, oh, well, he's good in the blitz and he's good against run defense. And then your defensive coordinator comes out and he's like, oh, yeah, you need linebackers that can cover in the modern NFL. And Nakobe Dean apparently can't cover anybody. He can't cover a traffic cone. So I don't think Nakobe Dean's going to be seeing much playing time this year. I know a lot of people are still high on him or still believe he's going to be an impact on the team. Even John McMullen, he's like, my money's still on Nakobe Dean starting. If he starts, I think that would be a Howie Roseman thing, not a Vic Fangio thing, which could potentially spell some trouble. I don't think you want your GM picking who's playing on the field. I know he was a third-round pick, but yeah, he's struggling, Big Sills. And everybody has said it. I mean, it's not just John. It's every reporter that's been down there. Nakobe Dean can't cover anybody. So, I don't know what you want me to tell you. I don't. Do you want me to debate you on it? Because I can't. You're going to win.
No, because I've been right since day one. So, no. The most perplexing person on the roster is James Bradbury.
Okay, why?
His role here. What are we doing with it? I mean, what did he get? He got some snaps at slot. And he got some slots and he got some reps in nickel. What are we doing? What's I mean, you're paying a guy $12 million. I'm trying to figure this one out here, and I don't want to. If you're going to play your young guys, Jason goes, he's a backup safety. He's a backup safety that's never played safety in the league. That's not a position for him.
Yeah, but
why do you think he's on the team?
I think he's on the team because Howie's trying to boost his value to make a move on him, and what you're going to see happen is.
So you think desperation will be for a team?
Howie's stubborn, and Howie's stubbornness is part of what makes him good. So you got to take the good with the bad. You have to understand that, as a GM. But I think there's two people involved in this that have two different objectives. And Vic Fangio is looking at the guys on the roster. He's not thinking about trading James Bradbury, and he looks at him and he says, "That's a guy I can use, or that's a guy I can, keep in my defense." Versus Howie's looking at him like, when can I get my opportunity to get something of value back for him? So I think there are two guys playing two different games. And the longer he's around, the more Vic Fangio is going to want to use him. And we'll see what he ends up doing. I don't think he's a bad guy to keep on the roster. He's a real good professional. He's been around the league for a while. He's had an all-pro season. He had it a couple years ago. I know he struggled last year, but, maybe he's a depth corner. He's a depth safety. He's just a secondary guy. And apparently he's looked all right at safety. He's looked pretty good, and it makes sense. He was a zone-based corner, so he's a smart guy. He got a good football IQ. Maybe he can be competent at safety. He just got done telling me, you're done with Reed Blanken shit and chicken wing Johnson. Maybe he can be a contributor.
Justin Simmons.
All right, we'll see.
No, well, at least I'm talking about a competent safety.
They're going to give, why has nobody picked him up? It's August 8th.
Money.
Yeah, the guy wants $14 million and not a team in the league.
Dennis Allen said this. We had a nice visit with him. I don't know where it's going. It's up to really Justin. Justin's dictating everything that's going on. And Dennis Allen even
probably going to take an ego hit because
there's multiple teams that have contacted him. He said this was Dennis Allen saying that, the head coach of the Saints. Okay,
Jack, thank you, man. Appreciate that. Love when people become members. Thank you, Jack. We appreciate it very much.
Bald Eagle, where the fuck are you now? Let's go here, kid.
Bald Eagle ran for the fences when Prince.
Holy cow, man! Come on, Bald Eagle. You can't just come parachuting in here and be like a phony ass Eagle fan. You're either in or you're not, dog.
That's a
this
TKO.
Is like the mafia, man.
That's a
TKO. This ain't like the boys choir.
That's a TKO.
You're either in or you're out. What?
That's a TKO, a technical knockout for Prince, who challenged him, and Bald Eagle ran for the fences. Bald, you still here?
I hear you guys talking, and I'm still saying this, and I'm sold on it now. And maybe this changes next week. I don't know. But do you agree? Rodgers, Gardner Johnson, Reed, and Slay with Avante Maddox. By the way, I heard Maddox was playing a little safety too. So, I mean, that's how your secondary is going to shake out right now. That looks like a Vic Fangio secondary.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think they're going to prioritize getting Quinyon Mitchell on the field. So we'll see what they end up doing with him. It's going to be interesting when DeJean comes back because it's like, who do they move out? You have Isaiah and Keeley fighting for that outside corner right now. But if they bring DeJean back and put him at the slot, they're probably going to bump those other two dudes right away for the first-round draft pick. And I don't know if they'd be wrong to do that. Quinyon showed pretty good signs. I know you don't want to just give a guy a spot because he's a first-rounder, but if he's looked competent or looked, comparable to Isaiah, they're going to give him the spot. They got a way bigger investment in that guy, and he's got a way bigger upside.
But Xander, here's the problem with just putting a young player at corner like that. If you're not getting pressure and your backers are not allowing you to make plays, and the only people that are your last line of defense are your safeties, this is what happened to the 31st ranked pass defense last year. You didn't get pressure, you couldn't cover, you couldn't tackle, and your corners were on an island out there, and they were exposed. Do you know what the difference was between 22's defense and the 23 defense was this? The volume of high percentage routes being completed. Early on, you had so much volume of pressure. Xander, your routes go 7 yards. Before you know it, the quarterback's getting hit and put on the ground. Last year, what you had was you had guys getting full routes all the way and pushing the secondary back because there was no pressure. That's why those secondary guys couldn't play center field like they did in 22. If that dynamic doesn't get better, and that's why Vic is moving all those linebackers around, trying to create all kinds of different types of looks and pressures. I hear he's blitzing like a maniac. That's not Vic Fangio's style of defense. He's blitzing, and he's blitzing like hell in practice. He's telling you right now he doesn't like the pressure he's seeing.
Yeah, but I have a hard time believing that defensive front's not going to get pressure. If you're in a 5-man front and you have Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, and Bryce Huff, forget Bryce Huff needing to get to the quarterback. That's a defensive line that's going to create pressure. Who's blocking all those dudes?
I'm talking
Jalen
about
Carter is one-handed tossing Mekhi Becton out of the way. He is a talented player. He is a force to be reckoned with.
The majority of your pressure the last 2 years has not come from interior. It's come from exterior.
Yeah, well, we haven't had Jalen Carter. We had him last year, but he was a rookie. Give him a chance. I think this guy.
I know your best pass rusher was Fletcher Cox.
I know, and he's gone now. So you're counting on what's his name, Jalen and Jordan to pick up that load. But I think they're gonna. I mean, if you get Jordan Davis in a one-on-one situation, he's not blockable. I know he might not be what people want him to be, but he's too big and too powerful and too strong, man. He just is. No interior offensive lineman is blocking him. No way. So I think you're going to get the pressure. I think the question is going to be in the secondary, but I think the defensive line will do their part this year. I really do. It all comes down to them, so they better.
Against my better judgment of saying this, I'm working on a ship. Man, I hope you're not that ship that hit that Baltimore bridge. And
Paul, thanks for the Superman. We appreciate you being here.
Hey, Gold Eagle, I hope you're not on one of those ships that just go astray and they just hit bridges and shit. I hope you're at least on a military ship where I can give you a salute, dog. Because if you're on one of them ships, dog, holy cow, man. Woo! Being on a ship with some dude named Chip sitting in my bunker next to me, I don't know, bro. I'm not working there with that.
Paul, thank you, brother. We appreciate the super chat.
Yeah, I do, man. Hey, thank you very much. Bald Eagle. All good, man.
Despite the maniac on the right side of your screen, we put you on the left side of your screen.
I just hope you ain't on one of them boats, dog. Hey, look out the bridge.
All right, so Big Cells, you got Ice Cube today. You're gonna ask Ice Cube
5 o'clock.
You're gonna ask my man Ice Cube about Jalen Hurts?
Yeah.
All right. I was curious to see what he thinks.
Absolutely. When I ask him about Hurts,
they're making Jalen Hurts the face of the league. You see that too, right?
Why? Because he threw a football in a cauldron? Because he threw a football. Dude, nobody from Philly. Oh, I'm going to end it with this. Do you think Nick Foles should be in the Eagle Ring of Honor Hall of Fame?
No doubt. Absolutely. We got one Super Bowl ring in how many years, Big Sills? The guy beat the guy. It's
When it
David
started.
versus Goliath, and he slayed him, Big Sills. He destroyed him. Not only did he throw the ball over the yard with 3 touchdowns, but he caught a tutty. And then Tom tried to do the same, and he failed.
God, can you
Nick
imagine
Foles,
a Super Bowl
Nick
touch?
Foles deserves to be in the Eagle Hall of Fame. I don't care what anybody says.
So he had
Nick
4
Foles.
TDs in that game, right?
Yeah, 4 TDs.
Dude, I didn't realize in the NFC title game against the Vikings, he threw for 353 also.
Yeah.
So he went 353 and then 373 in consecutive games.
Big Sills, you turn those lights up a little bit. Nick Foles is like, it's my time to shine, baby. It's my time to shine.
I'll say that, man. Xander, where are we in the likes, brother?
I think we're killing it, man. I got to get my man Prince. Prince has been killing it. I got to upgrade Prince. I got to look into how to do that. Prince needs to be upgraded from a standard moderator to, I don't know, an upgraded. I don't know if it's 2 wrenches or
Crowley's
a gold
been helping
wrench.
me a lot today. I'll give Crowley some love.
Crowley's I love Crowley. Crowley's
Yeah,
I love everybody.
killing
We have great viewers. We really do. I
Yeah,
mean,
we
they have great comments. They're, I like my new thing now is JAKIB Big Sills is the voice of the fan. Everybody has a voice here. We try and get everybody involved. You read everybody's comments, even the ones that you vehemently disagree with. This is the voice of the fan. There's not many other places you can go and voice your opinion and have it heard, read, and talked about. And I take pride in that. I think that's a great thing. I love all the viewers. I love everybody that supports our channel. And I hope they love our channel as much as I love them because we appreciate them very much.
We couldn't do this without him. I mean,
Yeah.
I learned that the hard way from the beginning. Hey, Sills, you're only getting 102 views. We changed that pitch around.
That's a lot of credit to you too, though. Guy's been doing it for 36 years, 40 years, and you're like, I got to switch up what I'm doing. And you did it. You took it. You ran with it, and the show has become very powerful. We get calls from the Eagles weekly about this sucker. So that's a merit badge, and I know you love that merit badge. That's your favorite one.
I sure do, man. When that girl calls, Bob, I love it. Hey, do me a favor, guys. Hit the like button. By the way, normal schedule for Birds 365?
Yep, normal schedule. So I think it's looking like a normal schedule next week too. They have that joint practice, and then they have the preseason game next week is Thursday. So they have Friday this week and then Thursday next week. I don't know what we're going to learn from these things other than what the depth on the team looks like and maybe a little bit about your backup quarterbacks. But other than that, I don't think they're going to play many guys that are, that everybody's excited about. But, it's still fun. It's football. It's Eagles football out there on the field, throwing the ball around. So it's fun for that reason. But we'll see.
Make sure when you get Colorulo on, man, you tell him I understood why he cut his hair because, hey, you work for Beasley, man. I get it. Hey, all good. I appreciate it. Make sure you check out Birds 365 with Xander. John does a great job, by the way.
We're taking shots, Big Sills, will you?
Hey, I love the fact, too, John looked at Jalen and goes like this. That wasn't me.
I got to get the shirt, man. Wait, so all right, I got an inquiry for the people in the chat. Maybe there's nobody, but I need somebody to help me with this. I have too much crap going on. I want to make a merch department for JAKIB. And a lot of people, some people are very good at this stuff with merch and printing it and making designs. And we obviously have to be copyright free. We can't use any Eagle logos or anything, but I need a Big Sill shirt. I need a I Didn't Write It shirt. I need Stop It with John McMullen. I need Big Sills. I need a whole bunch of shirts made. And we're going to give some out for the members. Obviously, we're doing the jersey giveaways. I'm looking to give away a bunch of stuff to the people that support this channel. I don't just want to stop at the Saquon jerseys. The financial contributions I'm going to pour as many of them back to you guys as I can. So if anybody can do merch or if anybody knows what the heck to do with it, if you could help me out, if you can get me some designs, I will obviously pay you for your work and your time. But reach out to me, Xander@JAKIBmedia.com is the email. So drop me an email, and I would love to, work you into it, and definitely pay you for your time. So we appreciate that very much. Hopefully one of you can help me out.
That would be absolutely sensational. Xander,
I know everybody's dying to get their hands on a shirt that has Big Sills' ugly
Sills, baby,
ugly face on it with it's Big Sills on
Let
there.
me tell you something, guys. If you
A
walk
dual
around
threat shirt, that'd be
Philadelphia-
great.
Dual threat. If you
Dual
walked
threat would be
around
great.
Philadelphia with a Big Sills shirt,
Jack says
holy
Xander with a
shit,
Z or an X. Come on, Jack. It's Xander with a Z, man. I know
Hey.
it's supposed to be X. Everybody's like, why is your name not with an X? I'm like, because I'm unique, all right?
Let me
Don't
tell
me
you
to
this.
tell you.
You walked around Philly with a Big Sills shirt, everyone would go, "You listen to that guy?"
They would.
Holy shit.
Don't wear a big Sil shirt to the link. You might get
Hey, no. That's where you wear it. Xander, catch you in the morning, my friend.
Appreciate you, Sills. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate all you guys, especially our new member, Jack Straw. You the man, Jack. Thank you, brother.
You got it. That's awesome, everybody. You guys have been sensational, man. I can't thank you guys enough. Please hit the like button. Don't forget, Birds 365 in the morning. Also, too, Farzi is part of that broadcast morning as well here on JAKIB. Hit the like button. We'll reset when we come back. Don't forget also, bottom of the hour here, we got Jason Cole, our NFL Inside Hall of Fame voter, and we got Ice Cube at 5 o'clock Eastern time right here on JAKIB Sports. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. We will have Jason Cole at the bottom of the hour. Also, top of the hour, our friend Ice Cube is going to join us. We'll talk a little sports with our friend. I think he just sold another team today to a venture capitalist in Miami. And I'm thinking he's trying to get a team in Philly, too. By the way, I'm also hearing WNBA potentially could be landing in the city of brotherly love. So all the things now starting to rock and roll there, especially with the WNBA, could be rolling out towards having a team in Philadelphia. So again, James Jones, you really think the Commanders are winning the division or making a wild card spot? Says Dick Train. I think they're winning the division still. Your defense is dog shit, Dick Train, until proven otherwise. You don't get the benefit of the doubt. Your offense does. Stop doing that. Why would you give your defense the benefit? I think what Xander said just a couple minutes ago, Ain't going to be because of Vic. It's going to be because of the Jimmys and Joes. Jimmys and Joes, baby. Do you have them? Jimmys and Joes. And you ain't got them yet. We'll find out. Hey, by the way, they keep telling me, well, this team is so talented. You don't know who's talented and who's not yet. Haven't played a football game yet. And I'm with you, man. I just know inexperience in the league. You don't have Sauce Gardner on that team. As good as you think Quentin Williams is, he ain't Sauce Gardner. Those guys come along every 4 years. Okay? Those guys come along every 4 years. Look at JM. Lions secondary still trash. They were in the NFC title game last year, homie. You got destroyed by the Bucs. Baker Mayfield. Crowley, thank you. Please hit the like button. We're approaching 200 likes. You guys are absolutely killing it. Sills, what about a CPA Howie shirt? Sill says Howie is a CPA. I like that. Hey. Or no, how about this one? Elf Roseman. Signed Big Sills. Before I move on, tell me who this guy is. Tell me who this guy is. Ready? Oh my God, if Xander started doing Howie and Associates and Elf Roseman, the CPA firm known as Big Sills and Roseman and Associates. Holy cow, man. Eagles would buy the channel and shut it down and burn it. Xander's like, he'd be like, hey, just like straight out of Compton. Easy E goes, I don't care. They bought it, man. They can do whatever they want with it. Stop it. You're a liar. Dude, you sound like a 4-year-old. You're a liar. Come on, Dick Train. You come here every day, man. I got respect for you, dog. You know that, Dick Train. You know I have great respect for you. Kidding me? You're a liar. I know that you're a liar. And you know what? I know that when you take my bagel with cream cheese, I know you're a liar and you're a thief. Come on, dog. We're all good, man. We're family here. Dick Train. Come on, man. Hey, man. Scott says he loves Dick Train. I'm with him, man. I love Dick Train, too. Hey, Dick Train is a character. It's all good. Regal Eagle. Hey, Big Sills. What is your take on unimpressive Nakobe Dean? Has he been in camp? I said this, Regal Eagle. Here's my impression of Nakobe Dean. That would be like 3 dots, 3 long pause dots, 3 dots again. In Morse code, that's SOS. Okay? That's SOS. Help. Or when you got your cable, the cable that you get. This is a public service announcement here, and we would like to let you know that there is a storm coming, and we'd like to let you know that Hurricane Dean is now reduced to a tropical storm. It at one time was considered a hurricane, but now it's a tropical storm, and now it's considered a depression. And soon to be, it's just going to be a mud puddle. Nakobe Dean's a mud puddle. Yeah, he's a sprinkler. Xander's like this. Yeah, this guy went from a hurricane to a sprinkler. Dude, how come he doesn't have hurricane force winds? No, this guy's holy shit. Dude, this guy couldn't cover my Hummer. I mean with a tarp, let alone covering a tight end or back out of the backfield. Okay? I mean, come on, man. Do me a favor. I'm going to do this to Jason Cole when we get his ass on. You ready? Who's this guy? 43,000 yards, 43,936 passing yards, 245 passing touchdowns, 155 interceptions. He's 103 and 82 as a starting quarterback in the NFL. 185 starts. Who is he? Who is that guy? 43,936, 245 touchdowns passing, 103 and 82 as a starting quarterback. Cousins, Eli, no guy playing now. Cousins. Foles. No, Foles has 14,000. Daniel Jones. Who is that guy? Won a Super Bowl. He's Super Bowl MVP. Yale goes Dak. Who is this guy? Wilson. Who is this guy? Russell. Breeze. I think Forrest, you said it first. And now Frankie said it. Joe Flacco. That's Joe Flacco. This guy's got more passing yards than Donovan McNabb. He's got 245 passing touchdowns. He's 103 and 82. He actually has almost better numbers than Eli Manning. He's got a Super Bowl MVP. He's got a Comeback Player of the Year award he won. I don't know Hall of Fame, and I'm not saying he is. Okay, I'm not saying he is at all. Okay, but, I mean, right? That's your guy. All right. So, before we get Jason on here, are you guys okay with this? Here's your wide receiver 3. Paris Campbell, Britton Covey, Johnny Wilson, and Anais Smith. Where's Queasy Watkins when you need him? Why do I yearn for the days of Queasy Watkins? Why am I yearning for Queasy Watkins when I see this thing? Paris Campbell, Britton Covey, Johnny Wilson, and Anais Smith. Those are your guys battling for the third wide receiver spot. Paris Campbell? Was it that guy benched by the Giants? The Giants? Was he in New York last year? Any wide receiver out of New York? Well, then again, wait a minute. It's Daniel Jones. So I can't really get a good sense of that. So I don't know if he's good or bad. I don't know if Paris Campbell's good or bad because I know this. Daniel Bag of Dimes is just not very good. So I don't know. Yale says Anais won't make the cut. To Xander's point, Xander thinks he makes the team. And he makes the 53-man roster. So you're going to give Johnny Wilson and Anais Smith roster spots when you're light at linebacker, edge rusher, and maybe some depth in the O-line and safety. That's where you're going, right? Right? You're going to give those 2 spots out. Those 2 spots. All right. I like Covey as wide receiver 3. He's looking like Cole Beasley or a Welker or Danny Amendola type player. You know, we'll see. Let's see him get into a ball game first. Seals, can you tell what wide receivers are available during our lackluster picks? Listen, man, these guys are number 3 guys. We don't have to sit here. Dude, don't look at big-name guys for your 3 wide receiver hole. That's not what this is. I don't want an old man Julio Jones to be my 3rd guy. Like the Jets got Odell Beckham. Why? Does he have anything left? Can he stay healthy? Or is he just looking for a paycheck where he's going to play 6 games and then go on IR and his contract is guaranteed? Is that what he's going to do? Got to remember when you're signing old guys for wide receiver 3, you're going to do what Deshaun Jackson did last year. You know what that was? Get active, play 3 weeks, get hurt, contract's guaranteed. Organizations don't play that role any longer. They'd rather pay a young kid minimum wage or a 4th or 5th round salary and live on that island than pay a guy like Beckham or Julio Jones to come in here and start stealing money from teams. You know, I mean, that wide receiver 3, you don't have to have a name. You have to have a competent dude. That is, remember something about the league. Before I get Jason Cole in, remember something about the league. Talent, availability, and how much do you cost are all 3 part of how you make a club. If I can find a guy to do the same role and he's cheaper, just like America when it comes to corporate business, I'm going to find that guy, get him out of college. I'm going to cut the guy that makes the big money. This is what they've done in media. All these legendary writers, they've taken them out of all these great big places like the Inquirer and some of these places. You know what they'll do? They'll hire an internet nobody. Pay him $50 a day. You don't get quality columns like you used to, like Paul Zimmerman, Jason Cole, and these guys who give you quality columns. It's not about them. It's about covering what they see. It's different today, man. It's the same thing when it comes to building a football team, though. Okay? You're looking for quality, but yet, hey, I got to play the game today. I think the NFL is going to be pretty interesting this year, and I think it's going to be one of the more intriguing seasons. But I want to play a game with Jason Cole out of the gate here, and I want to see if he could tell me who this dude is. Let's bring in our friend, Hall of Fame voter. Don't forget, he's from the same island, basically, as Ice Cube, who's on at the top of the hour tonight. And he
Valley, baby. Valley. The Valley, baby. That's right. Tell him it's straight up.
Straight up.
Straight up. Taft High, baby.
How about this one here?
I'm a North Hollywood Husky. He went to Taft High School.
Ready?
The Valley. Yeah, go.
Tell me who this guy is. 43,936, 245 touchdown passes. He's 103-82 in 185 starts. He's a Super Bowl MVP, and he won a Super Bowl, obviously. And he's in the league right now. Who is he?
Joe Flacco.
Yeah. Nailed it. You know, people were going, I waited on the Super Bowl MVP and Super Bowl. They were like, Dak, Cousins. I mean, I'm like, I looked at the guy's numbers. I mean, he's entering.
That was if Dak or Cousins ever got to the Super Bowl. Yeah.
I don't think they've got out of the first round, like you said.
Yeah.
What do you make of his career, Jason? I mean,
it's a good, solid career. Yeah.
Is he Ken Anderson?
Yeah, I mean, different playing style, obviously. Kenny was a super plus accuracy guy and short ball thrower. Flacco's a big arm dude, and Flacco's a tougher guy against the rush. Like he played against those Steelers teams that really brought it. They were bringing the wood all the time, and Ken played against Steelers teams that brought the wood, because he was at Cincinnati, but they designed an offense so that he wouldn't get hit, right? Like intentionally get the ball out of your hands faster because you're not going to stand in there toe to toe with those guys. Flacco stood in there toe to toe with those guys. Flacco tougher guy probably. Bigger guy, bigger arm guy, different style of offense, but sum total is about the same thing.
Who was that? It escapes me here. Who was that linebacker that played on the Steeler teams that went? He was just
James Harrison.
Who?
James Harrison, you're talking about?
Yeah, James Harrison. You think he's a Hall of Fame guy?
I'd like to hear the case. I haven't really looked at it. He's sort of one of those out of nowhere guys, sort of like
was cut 3 times.
Yeah, cut 3 times. Yeah, he's sort of like Kurt Warner kind of thing for linebackers.
Yeah, worldly guy too. Yeah.
Yeah. But I haven't looked at the stats enough to say yay or nay. I probably should look at it a little bit more, but I'm not saying no off the bat. I'm clearly not saying yes right off the bat.
I want you to tell me, there was a story that came out from Tim McManus from ESPN and also Jeremy Fowler about the relationship between Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni being fractured. And I want you to tell me how these stories get released. And in your opinion, when you get that kind of intel, these guys are there in the scrum every day. They're at the NovaCare Center. You know, I think the fans think that you guys wake up in the morning and they go, hey, let's just F with the Eagles right now and let's put out a shitty story so that we could create something that's so crazy. Why does a story like that, Jason, take so long? And all of a sudden the timing, because Jalen Hurts even asked yesterday, he goes like this. He asked Tim McManus right there in front of him. He goes, what's the relevance of it? He goes, well, giving context. And I don't think it was a bad question that Tim asked. He goes, well, I want to know why the meltdown last year, and I'm trying to find out, this is where you are now. So it was context. Right. How do you guys look at stories like that? Do you sit on stories and pick a time, or do you see a story and when it's there, you just put it out when you have all the T's crossed and the I's dotted?
I generally sided on write something as soon as you know it. I didn't believe in teeing something up for a certain time.
Did you give that team a heads up or that person a heads up?
No, they always knew what was coming. People weren't surprised. The last thing I should say this: the last thing you ever want is somebody to be completely surprised by something that's coming. Sometimes, in a very rare moment, there's something that happens, especially now because of the immediacy factor, in which you just got to get it out there and you don't have time to make sure that you make the final phone call to let somebody know, hey, look, I got this. This is what's coming. Excuse me, but you do everything that you possibly can to get a message as a journalist, because in the long run, that pays off for you. I know a lot of journalists are like, oh, they're going to give it to my competition if I give it to them now. If the relationship that you have with the team, then I think you have to have that. You have to be honest with them until they put you in a position where you say, I can't be honest with you anymore because we're not working. You're not respecting me.
That's got to be a tough balance, Jason, that you have to balance.
Depends on the team. Most organizations understand that. If they have good PR people, they understand that. Occasionally,
yeah, but you're a national guy. They probably treat local guys different.
Well, even local guys. I mean, I base my experience mostly off of spending, what was it? How long did I cover the Dolphins? From 92 until, for 14 years, I covered the Dolphins. And I based most of the stuff off of the day-to-day experiences I had with the Dolphins. I let them, I gave them a heads up. I told them, and like, this is coming. This investigation's coming. USC, when I was investigating Reggie Bush, they knew it was coming. They were never surprised waking up in the morning about something that we were publishing. That's not fair.
Are you glad Reggie Bush got his Heisman back?
Yeah, Reggie deserves to have his Heisman. As I always say, Reggie needs to be honest. Yeah, like, you took the money, dude. Don't keep telling people you never took the money. Like,
I don't know what you're talking about, taking money. Nobody knows. What are you talking about?
My point exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, all I know is this: plausible deniability. Did you ever take money for that Corvette you drove at Miami? Don't know what you're talking about. I found it.
It was on the side of Biscayne Boulevard, in front of a condo complex.
I don't know if I ever told you this story, Jason. I get this Corvette down there, and I pull up to a red light, and there's Jimmy in front of me. I didn't know. I'm sitting there and I'm in this, got the tees up there, and I'm driving this going in my senior year. And I see this crazy ass old man in front of me doing this shit. Look. And I'm going like, oh my God, it's Coach Johnson. We pull over the side of the road. He gets out of his car and he goes, where the fuck did you get this? I go, I found it. And he went like this, come see me in my office. And I goes, holy shit. Myrna called me. He wants to see you. It was 7:30. I go up to you. You're off the team. Fuck you. You know they're on our ass right now with all that shit from the Fiesta Bowl. So I'm like, oh my God. And so the next day he calls me. You're on the team. I don't want to talk to you for 3 weeks. Get rid of it. If I see it, I'm going to put you under the car. And I went. So I had to park it in the garage for a while.
Had to park it in the garage.
Yeah, I had to park it in the garage of the house I lived in.
Great. The parking garage of the place. That's so great. That's so Miami.
Oh, totally, man.
Some dude got into it with me last week when I talked about how Andre and Devin are like the quietest Canes of all time.
Oh,
and
of all time.
You're besmirching the Canes into this. I'm like, come on, man, stop. Just stop.
So they're really good guys, man. But you talk about quiet guys. Those two don't fit the bill of the kind of shit talkers we all were down there, like Jerome and Michael Urban, all them guys down there, man. Those guys were just absolute barkers. Let me get it back to Hurts and Sirianni. Do you think that after a year like that from a year ago, is that something to keep an eye on with the Eagles here, that supposedly Jalen Hurts and the offensive coordinator and the head coach completely were at different odds? That was one of the reasons for the meltdown. Yet the Eagles decided to bring Sirianni back. And you could see why now Kellen Moore is completely running that entire offense. There's no influence whatsoever by Nick Sirianni, and you can hear it in his press conferences. Do you think that'll be a problem for Philly going into this season, that the relationship not between Sirianni and Jalen, but Sirianni and Kellen?
Oh, I think it's a problem all the way around. That you only overcome if you win. Like, it puts a premium on you better win. Because if there's any issues, there's any cracks, then people are going to start pointing fingers. The thing I worry about when stories like this come out is that they come out for a reason. Somebody has an agenda, whether that's the quarterback wants control, the head coach wants control, or the owner is putting everybody on notice. Or
could it be Kellen Moore too? Because here's something.
Kellen Moore's a little bit. I'll say this.
He's in the middle of this because he's looking for a job to be a head coach. He's also looking for his place in that building. That he's got a lot of pressure. He's been fired 2 years in a row now. He was interviewed for that Eagle job 2 years ago, and they gave it to Sirianni over him. It's a pretty weird dynamic, Jace.
A very strange dynamic. But if I'm Kellen Moore, like, I got nothing to lose in this situation, really, in terms of the power. I don't know that you make that play right now. To me, this smacks of one of the top three figures. And it's either Hurts, Sirianni, or the combination of Howie / Jeff, right? Just Howie and Jeff are in lockstep. One of those three is trying to put pressure on the other, okay, to shape up or ship out.
Tim McManus is not going to put that story out there unless somebody in the organization has told him, because you're not getting it, Bob.
Right, which is why I come back to
the owner.
I'm not saying that the owner or Howie said it to them, but the owner or Howie is aware of what was said to McManus. In other words, messages get delivered from a multitude of sources for a multitude of reasons. And Lurie and Howie are sharp enough to know that's how you deliver this message. Sirianni's not. I don't think Sirianni's clever like that. I think Sirianni's just a ball coach.
Boy,
and I don't think Jalen is manipulative like that.
So you think Lurie, who's a hands-on owner, potentially could have bled something out, and not directly, but bled something out to where it was corroborated by Tim and Jeremy Fowler, where you're putting the head football coach on. To me, I'm reading it that way too, that the head football coach is on notice.
Well, because he's the one. They ain't firing Hurts.
No, they're not firing Hurts.
No, Hurts got a job. He's got a job for the foreseeable future. That's 1, 2, 3 years. Sirianni is the one on the hot seat because they have shown they're not afraid to fire coaches. They fired Chip Kelly when it went wrong. They fired Doug Peterson even when he was a coach when they felt it was going wrong. They'll dump somebody. They're not afraid to do that. I don't agree with that philosophy, but they're
okay. Jace, you still there?
I'm here.
Gotcha, man. All right. Let's go to Pittsburgh here. How do you think that thing wheels out and rolls out? Does Wilson keep his job, or do you think Justin Fields by the end of the year is the starting quarterback in Pittsburgh?
I think that overwhelmingly they want Wilson to be the guy because Wilson has your best chance of getting you to the playoffs and winning the division. Not Hurts, but Fields is a guy who there's an upside there, and if he has to play, okay, we'll take our chances with him. But I think that they're in here to make the playoffs because they know they've wasted a couple of years not making the playoffs. So to me, this is 80% Wilson's job for the losing. He's there until something really goes off the rails. And with Arthur Smith, I think there's a good chance you'll have that kind of stability.
Absolutely. I think he's a really good coordinator there. I have to ask you about this guy. He called it a career today. Nick Foles. I called him the greatest substitute teacher in the history of the National Football League. He's kind of a better version of Earl Morrall, maybe. Morrall was an MVP, so maybe not Earl Morrall, but maybe more Hostetler.
Frank Reich.
Somebody like that. But here's a guy who beat the GOAT. He beat the coaching GOAT. He was a former Pro Bowler himself. He's the MVP in the Super Bowl. I mean, some incredible moments. How do you look at his career? Again, anything to do with Hall of Fame. And we had a poll question here. Is that a guy that you put in the Eagle Hall of Fame because he gave the Eagles their greatest moment in the history of their franchise where,
yes,
for all the quarterbacks that they've ever had, 15,000 passing yards, but look at the accolades that he's had. I mean,
there are some guys, like Terrell Davis getting into the Hall of Fame, and I'm not saying Foles deserves the Hall of Fame. That's not where we're at. But if you're talking about the Eagles Hall of Fame or Ring of Honor or whatever, there are certain guys who earn that in very short spurts of time because
like Sayers.
Sayers with the Bears, TD, Tony Baselli, I'm thinking on a much higher level. But on a team level, Nick Foles has a place in Eagles history that is worthy of being in the Eagles Ring of Honor. Nick Foles, I'm not saying that he drinks because I have no idea if he does, should never buy a drink in Philadelphia ever in his life. Ever. The tab is paid, pal. The tab is paid.
He's got a statue up front of the stadium. I mean, he's got the respect of the fans forever. Like you said, he did something no other quarterback has ever done, and he did it. Like I said, it's almost a pseudo version of a smaller version of Eli, where you're beating the dude, and you're beating him in the game. I mean, I don't think you can pick anything better than that stage.
No, he again, it's one of those stories only in football, man. Only in football. You would if you wrote that for a Hollywood script, they would throw you out of the room, right? They just go, come on, man, we're not. It's heaven can wait, that's what it is. It's such a great story. You're out camping thinking you quit, and all of a sudden you're back in the game, right? That's because Andy Reid made a phone call to you, and then 2 years after you almost quit on a camping trip, you're leading a team to the Super Bowl, and it's a fabulous story. So He has a place in the Ring of Honor. He has a place in Philadelphia lore forever.
Absolutely. Couple last questions here for you. How's this Ayuk story work out? You keep saying they're going to send Debo, but doesn't it seem now, Jason,
It may get to the point. There was always, if the 49ers have their druthers, Debo goes in a year. Okay. But a lot of it was contingent upon they had to get Ayuk to at least come to the table and agree to a deal that they could live with. And so if they don't, then they alternate it, and Pearsall becomes the guy a year from now, and they live through it, right? And they keep Debo. So they can alternate it. I just don't think it's not what they really want to do, because I think they see Debo's got a shorter window left than Ayuk does. If you're going to invest in one player or the other, you're going to invest in Ayuk.
Yeah, but I'm going to go like this with Ayuk. Hey, it's nice what you want, but the big dude over there at the left tackle position.
Well, he's going that's not even that's not even part of this equation. Because you know what the Trent Williams thing is all about. The Trent Williams thing is, hey, dude, we don't want you on the field. I don't want to be in camp. A, I don't want to be in camp. And B, they don't want you in camp because you're 30-something years old. And every day that you're in camp is a day you can get hurt. And I don't need you to get hurt. So stay home. We'll give you a couple of $1 million when you get back, and it's all good. But stay home. We're fine. You know, that's the old guy veteran move. Stay home thing. That's what that is.
Jason, I got to roll. I'm going to get another Los Angeles, or as my daughter's known as, an Angelinian, because she was born in LA. Angelino. She was born in LA too. So
there you go.
She was born there as well. Jason Cole, thank you so much.
Tell Cuba, the Valley represents, even though I'm not trying to call him a Valley. I didn't call him a Valley dude. I didn't say that, but just say Valley represents. And,
hey, Cube, he called you a Valley girl.
No, I didn't say Valley girl. Valley dude. There's a great song by the Straight A's called "The Valley Dude." You should listen to it.
That's my wife's favorite movie, though. Valley Girl. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. She loves that thing with Nicolas Cage.
Fun one, absolutely.
She loves that movie. It's like one of her favorites, man. Hey, Jace, I love you, man. I'll talk to you next week.
Later. You're good.
You got it. Our good friend, Hall of Fame voter, Jason Cole. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Ice Cube's right around the corner. We will talk some sports with him. He's at the top of the hour. Please hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Rick Sills National Football Show. Please hit the like button. Ice Cube's going to join us in a couple minutes. And we will get the legendary rapper and entrepreneur on with us here in a minute. We're going to reset a little bit here as well. The Bills are playing Josh Allen this weekend. The Kansas City Chiefs are playing Patrick Mahomes. Why won't the Eagles play Jalen Hurts? These are quality reps when we're talking about playing exhibition football. You've heard Phil Simms say that numerous times. By the way, guys, awesome stuff. Please, Crowley, thanks for keeping an eye on it. Please hit the like button, guys. You guys have been sensational. We'd love to see if we can get to 250 likes. Thank you guys again. You guys have been, dude, you guys have absolutely knocked the ball out of the park the last couple weeks here, man. You guys, especially the last couple days, when it comes to like memberships and shit like that, it's been absolutely sensational. All platforms, Twitter, Facebook, obviously our YouTube channel. You guys are absolutely killing it. Thank you, Crowley. You've had a great day today, man. We really appreciate you doing that. Why is it so that the Eagles want to not play him and give him some quality reps? I'm not talking about playing a quarter. But get this, Andy Reid is playing Patrick Mahomes at least 2-3 series this weekend. They want to get the offense acclimated. Now, again, Andy Reid has that autonomy. Folks, when you're a coach like Andy Reid, you get the chance to do that kind of shit. You lose your starting quarterback, the organization's not firing that guy. Like, you lose Mahomes, and you're Jonathan Gannon, you're going to get your ass handed to you. Okay? You're going to get your ass handed to you if you lose Kyler Murray here. John Harbaugh has built up that kind of equity as well when it comes to that. Got to remember something, man. Certain organizations have the right dude pulling the trigger. And when you have a guy like that pulling the trigger, those guys make those calls, get their teams ready. Tell me this, though. How does the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs seemingly still stay in old school ways in a modern day NFL? Why is that? Because they got quality coaches. Those guys are not going to deviate off the process and plan that they have when it comes to success. They are not going to deviate off that. That's not going to work for them. Okay? I mean, Andy does something a certain way, and that's how he does business, man. He will always do it that way. Hit the like button, folks. We're efforting our friend. We'll be talking with Ice Cube here in a second here. I like that idea. Josh Allen's going to play a little bit this weekend. Okay? I would like to see at least some of the players. And what am I expecting again on Friday with the Ravens and the Eagles? I want to see the majority of that defense play. Dude, the only way you get better is getting quality reps. Those organized team scrimmages like you're going to get next week. You've got to have the right people running an organization, and you've got to have the right people. Look at Andy Reid. You think there's any difference when it comes to Andy Reid? And Andy Reid does things the old school way, and he's going to play Mahomes this weekend, right? You know what that means? This guy's got the equity in the building because he's won all these Super Bowls. He's got Steve Spagnuolo on the other side. That's not the most talented roster, but you know what they do have? The most talented roster of people that know what they're doing. Anybody who knows that. This is about experience. Okay? It's about experience. Speaking of experience, I got to tell you something here, guys. On all our platforms, we appreciate you guys have been killing it with the subscriptions, with the amount of viewers we've had over the last 3-4 weeks here, man. It's absolutely exploded, especially on Twitter, Facebook. You guys are kicking the shit out of this thing here, man. And that's why we're the most watched show right now in Philly. And that's why the Eagles bitch and complain about us every day. Because you know why? Big Seals tells you the fucking truth. I don't sit around not telling you the truth. I tell you the way it is, not the way it isn't. And sometimes, see, people would rather be lied to in the world, okay, than they would rather hear the truth. And that's sometimes with my friend Ice Cube here. I'll tell you, man, this man rolls to his own beat. And I just had somebody send me this. Somebody down in Miami just sent me this. Go, Sills, I see you're having Ice Cube on. And Heath Freeman is a friend of mine. And he just purchased one of the teams that Ice Cube now has sold to an entrepreneur in Miami. And it looks like they're doing all of this around the country right now. Let's see if we can get one in Philly. And let's bring in our friend who always finds time for us. It is the legendary Ice Cube, owner of the Big Three. By the way, we're gonna kick a little Olympic ass today too, Cube. So we're gonna go after the Olympics a little bit today. But congratulations on Heath Freeman, man. You just sold yourself some another franchise down in South Florida, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, Heath is a great owner to have, you know, in the league, a team owner that's engaged, who can help the team. You know, he has a lot of different ways to help the team as far as media and you know, sponsors and things. You know, he just brings you know, a lot with him, and he's an engaged owner. You know, last thing we want is some guys who are not engaged, who don't love the game of basketball, love the 3-on-3 game. We don't want this to be somebody's toy. We want somebody to help us blow this league up. And Heath, you know, he actually added a little more money onto the pot. You know, where we challenged the gold medalists in 3-on-3, the Netherlands team, their national team, to a little friendly in Boston on August 18th, and we put 150,000 up, and he added some more to that, so now it's up to 250,000. So we hope they accept the offer. We thank Heath for you know, just being involved. He knows this will help blow the sport up, and you know, we just, you know, we're lucky to have him.
How about this too, Cube? The growth of the league. You've carried the weight your entire self, and your team and your investors have carried the weight. Now you're seeing people want to get involved in it. I see there's other people that are buying certain teams. I think in Houston, you sold one as well. So you're seeing more people coming to the table wanting to be involved. Is that the evolution just of sports growing in today's medium when you have streaming and all this other stuff now that's other vehicles? Because sports and entertainment have now become a major vehicle. You see Disney, what they're doing with their streaming services now. Is sports become a major vehicle for that? And that's maybe we're a place where the Big Three fits.
Without a doubt, you know, sports is one of the last, you know, sit around the table, everybody gather in front of the TV events, and to have a sport that works. You know, a lot of people try, you know, a lot of people fail. A lot of people stood back to see if we were going to fail. And this thing just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And they realize, you know, they need to get in now while they're getting as good, you know. And so they don't want to be kicking themselves 4 or 5 years from now saying, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. and it's great. You know, we've proven ourselves over these last 7 to 8 years that we are the premier top 3-on-3 league in the world. And so to me, it's you know, it's like we welcoming, you know, smart, innovative owners that can see around the corner, who understands the upside of the big three. And hopefully we can blow up, you know, 12 cities with our 12 teams, and then add, you know, 12 more one day.
Let me ask you this, Cube, when it comes to the Olympic Games. Were you happy that Team USA lost? Were you not happy that they lost? Was it a message that why the NBA has fought you in your league? Because, again, I'm not saying you're anti-American at all. And that's not what I'm doing here. I'm saying you're a little bit anti-arrogance of the NBA when it comes to that, because the arrogance, and I've talked to Adam Silver about you numerous times. I went to school with the dude, and I'm like, dude, the guy wants to work with you, man. I mean, yeah, you're running his advertisers off, or you're trying to, and you're trying to do it, but he's growing. This is not going to go away. And look at your big three. You ended up just getting beat in the Olympics. How does a Team America get beat in that? And there you are with the best talented people in the world. I mean, what were your feelings off that?
Well, you know, of course, I wanted America to win. You know, at the end of the day, you know, when somebody tells you that they don't need your help, thank you, but no thank you, we got this, you want to kick back and see if they really got it. And I think not only me, but everybody watching was disappointed and know we can do better. I know we have better talent than was on display. And it's just a shame because of ego, pettiness, pride, whatever you call it, is stopping us from sending the very best to win the gold medal. And so, look, the Olympics will be in LA in 2028, and let's not make the same mistake. You know, I think there's, you know, hopefully there's an outcry that USA Basketball gives our athletes the same invitation that they give the NBA players to bring that gold where it belongs.
Man, LA 28, Ice Cube, Big Three, you're home. Dude, sell as Luther Campbell tells me, selling vinyl out of the back of your 6'4", and there you are sitting there at LA 28, and you got your Big Three there. That'd be a crowning achievement, man. I know you've done so many things in your life, but to see your league helping out the NBA getting the best possible for 3-on-3 hoop for the Olympics, that would have to be one of your greatest crowning achievements.
Without a doubt, you know, and I have no doubt that our guys will bring the gold home, which is really what it's all about. You know, it's not about me. It's about dominating at the game of basketball like we know we should.
Absolutely. Cube, I gotta throw this at you too. Antonio Pierce, let's move over to some sports talk here. What's your take on him, man? I think he's a Long Beach kid, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's somewhere around that neck of the woods. Is he there?
It's Compton, California.
He's a Compton kid. Okay, so he's a Compton kid. And how about him running the Raiders there, man? I know you and I know that I'm friends with Amy Trask, and she loves to hire. What's your take on him?
I love it too because he's a player. You know, it's not because he's from Compton, but it's the fact that he's a player who's won Super Bowls, intricate part of it, tough guy, makes it all about, you know, what you can do on the field, brings the energy and the attitude you need to be a head football coach in the National Football League and to be the Raiders coach. He know what it means to this area. You know, the now it's a triangle of Oakland, Vegas, and LA. He knows what it means, and for him to understand that going into it, You know, I don't think you could find a better person for the job.
I'm going to circle back here again with Big Three. I got to tell you what I love what you're doing. You're doing concerts at the city where you're having like your tournament on the weekend. The Big Three people are working with me on it, and I repost. They're always talking to me about what you're doing. And of course, we're always going to support you. And you kind of make it like a festival.
Yeah.
Cube, you know, it's kind of like there you are, like giving folks a great concert. I've been to those concerts too. They're off the chain. I was there at the Del Mar one a couple of years back when you were in San Diego.
Yeah.
Now, hey, folks, just don't take this for anything, but shots were fired, man. We still stuck there, and we were there with Cube the whole way, man. Cube was on stage. I text him. He goes, man, you don't think I've heard that shit before at a concert, man? What do you think? I'm crazy? I'm still right here. But you make it really like a festival, and then you have the basketball event over the weekend. Is that kind of the sense of what you were shooting for and what you wanted to have with you performing and then having the event on the weekend?
Yeah, you know, we always saw this as a mini all-star game, you know, rolling around the country. We got over 100 athletes. You probably know 65% of our athletes and our coaches, and we feel like we got star power. And so, you know, we envision Big Three weekends and Big 3 weeks when it's time to go from city to city next year. And so, you know, it's really all about creating that vibe, that atmosphere. And if I can help do it in any way, shape, or form, that's what it's all about. You know, great entertainment, but hard-nosed, serious sports. And I think that's a combination that you can't miss with.
Couple last questions for you, Cube. Is there expansion on the horizon for Big Three? Are you looking to broaden it? Because I'll tell you what, I'd like to see a team roll around in Philly.
Yeah.
Like to get something in there, man. I mean, you know, we're good there. I mean, maybe someplace in the South, you know, besides Miami, maybe Tampa. I don't know, someplace, you know, around there. I mean, are we looking at expansion?
Of course. You know, we've sold, 4 teams already. We want to sell the other 8. So, you know, it's a lot of cities that can be, a lot of groups, a lot of, guys who, had dreams of owning a sports franchise. So there's hope for a lot of those cities you named. And then we do want to expand, going to 16 teams once we sell these 12, then going to 20, 24, and so on. So, that'll be, great days in the Big Three if we can get there.
I'll tell you what, man, I'd like to see you start selling shares like the Packers do to people, where everybody could become an owner in a small way of a basketball team in a particular community, where you buy like a $1,000, $1,500 stock or something like that, where everybody in towns can be invested in that. Because I love what the Packer thing is up there. And when you see, and I told Rock this, I go, hey, when you sell some of those teams, you should sell it to the city, man, and open up to a stock and have some of the people buy into it. Might make them feel that way. Cube, I got to ask you this last one here. Dude, the visionary you are. I mean, here you are. Hey, Caitlin, here's $5 million. Okay? And now everybody's like this. Holy, wait a minute here. This is Larry Bird and Magic Johnson with Angel Reese and with Caitlin Clark. Yeah. How much and how disappointed were you that they weren't on the Olympic team? Because, Cube, as you knew, nobody's watching the women. And as talented, they've won 58 straight or 59 straight. They're super talented. But as you know, as a businessman, for 28 years, the WNBA was a cash loss for the NBA. Now you have cash cows in Angel Reese and with Caitlin. You have Magic and Larry again. Yeah. They're just women. And did they miss an opportunity, in your opinion?
Well, it depends on what's the ultimate goal. If the ultimate goal is to win a gold medal, then no. This team has been together
to make money, though.
Well, I think the ultimate goal for the Olympic committee and the Olympic team is to win the gold medal and let the chips fall where they may after that. So, if this team goes on to win the gold medal, it's not a missed opportunity to me. Now, if they don't win it, then maybe, yeah, because now they could have at least promoted the sport. But, they believe they got the squad that can win it, and there's no reason to disrupt that with rookies if you don't have to. And so I understand why they're not there. Me and my partner would have found a way to get them there because we think you can win the gold and blow the sport up at the same time. But maybe they didn't want to take that chance.
Cube, I want to sneak one last one in on here. I watched Straight Outta Compton the other day again, and it's so well done. And I remember you sitting on the couch with your wife in that scene, and then you were talking about how much you left on the table with that band and how much there was still left to be done. And because of the politics and the business of it, it kind of derailed that whole thing. It's kind of almost like the rap version of the Beatles in a way because, business got in the way of that group too. People were fighting over rights and, people writing songs who didn't get the credit for it. How disappointed do you look back on that and go like this? Damn, great opportunity. We helped start a new genre when it came to rap music, but we left so much behind that could have been still even greater than what we put out there. Is there a little bit of that, a little bit of regret that there was still something left there?
Just a little, but not a lot. Excuse me. Just a little, but not a lot. I'm pretty happy with the turn of events at the end of the day. I don't think I would be here if the band stayed together. I don't know if I'll be talking to you right now about sports. And so, you got to play with the cards you dealt and play to win. And that's what I did. And, I wouldn't change anything though, Dan, to be honest.
One last one here. This guy just asked here, Big Marshall, any chance of another Friday?
Of course. Definitely.
Dude, where are you off to next, man?
We're on our way to Nashville. We got the playoffs this Sunday. Check us out, CBS. And then the finals is in Boston, August 18th. Hopefully we can have that all-star game before our championship game with, us against the Netherlands. And so we'll see. Hopefully it goes down. We also got our celebrity game that day. So next 2 weeks, it's all about popping champagne at the end of it.
Gin and juice, baby. Hey, man, I'm a gin and juice, man. Hey, all good, man. I appreciate it. Cube, keep knocking them down, man. Thank you so much for your friendship, man. It means a ton to me. And your great success continues so much, man. Thank you, Cube.
Salute, man. Thanks for the support. Really appreciate it, man.
Always. Thank you. Thank you so much. Ice Cube, the legendary Ice Cube. Do me a favor, guys. Make sure you check it out. This guy kicks it ass when it comes to Big Three. He's done so much when it comes to building that brand. I mean, always, I talk to Amy Trask about him all the time. Al Davis loved him. I was personally hired by Al Davis, and he used to go like this, Sills, I'm friends with Cube. And I go, I know you are friends with Cube. So it was long time. It was such a great thing to be hired by Al Davis, and that's kind of where my friendship started, was with Amy Trask and them. So we so appreciate it. Make sure you check out Ice Cube's Big Three this weekend. Do me a favor, hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood days.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your green house? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Please hit the like button. Appreciate you guys coming aboard. By the way, do me a favor. Let me know where we are right now when it comes to our likes. That was awesome too, by the way, listening to Ice Cube. Dude, I've known him a long time. And God, this goes back 20 years. I met him back in the 80s, though, when he was with NWA. And just to give you some context, some of you know the story. 220, 221, try to get it to 250. Here's my history with NWA. We did like a security for NWA and Luther Campbell, and I forget there was somebody else. Maybe Kool Moe Dee or somebody like that. And this was like in Fort Lauderdale. And they got a bunch of us. Jerome was the guy who got the security for us. It went through Luther Campbell. And we were up there. And I met Eazy-E. I met all them guys. I met Snoop. I met, obviously, Ice Cube. And I met, really, the guy I really was really fond of was Eazy-E. And he was such an engaging guy. And I met him a bunch of times, Eazy-E. And I kind of became friends. And obviously, he ends up dying with HIV and such, and all that kind of went away. Then I got to Vegas. And believe it or not, I got to Vegas. And oh, wait. I was playing in the NFL. Then when I went to the NFL, I met Suge Knight when he was with the Rams. I think it was. So I think he was playing with the Rams. And that's how I met Suge. Suge's a big dude, man. And I played against him when he was, I think, a backup offensive lineman in 87. I think he actually was a scab on that Rams team, if I'm not mistaken. Then I think he got in some legal trouble. Then he became like a bodyguard or some shit. And somehow he ended up running Death Row Records. And I got a chance to meet him when he was running Death Row Records because I lived in Vegas. And me and my wife went to dinner with him. I know Suge Knight. And by the way, Harvey Hyde, who I did a lot of work with. Yeah, isn't this wild? I did a lot of work with a guy named Harvey Hyde. If you go over to my Twitter page, he follows me. Coach Hyde was the former UNLV head football coach. And he introduced me to like as so we could sit down and have dinner. He introduced me to Shug. I had played against Shug. We kind of knew each other in camp. And I had played against him when he was with the Rams and I was with the Cowboys, I think. And I played against him. And then when I was in the league, I think he was like a replacement player, something like that. But Harvey introduced us when he was the head of Death Row Records. And I was in Vegas when Tupac got shot. By the way, I was at that fight. I believe it was the Peter McNeely fight. I got tickets to it. My wife and I were we saw this go down, the fight in the MGM. We saw the fight go down. Tupac was out there fighting the guy in the front lounge of the MGM Grand. Everyone watched it. We used to go to the I still to this day have a great relationship with the MGM. Scott Gerstner, who was a guy who is the head of concierge guy that's there at the MGM. He's still there. Okay, I mean, I was there the night Tupac got into that fight. Now, obviously, I wasn't on the strip, but I was in there when Tupac got into a fight with this. It was a Tyson, I think the Peter McNeely fight when he fought him. I actually have tickets to that thing. I should post that. They were $1,000 a piece, and they were given to me by Don King. I've known Don King probably since my sophomore year at Miami. And Don King Jimmy used to invite him to University of Miami games. And Don King and his kid would come to my games. And my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, she goes like this, "You know these guys?" I go, "Yeah, you see that guy right there? You guys will never know this name." But I was like this. I go, "Yeah, that's my friend right there, Virgil Hill." She's like, "You know Virgil Hill?" My wife's a big boxing fan. She was my girlfriend then, obviously. And I go like this. And I'm like, I said, "Yeah, that's my friend Virgil Hill. We've known each other a long time." She goes, "You don't know Virgil Hill?" I go, "Okay." So my wife didn't realize I knew all these folks, just bumping into people, man. I don't know. Virgil Hill comes over, gives me a gigantic hug. He's sitting there, "Oh my God, I love you. You know, I love you. Oh my God." Virgil Hill, man, former light heavyweight champion of the world. And so my wife, I go, "This is my girlfriend, Kim." And she's looking, she goes, "I'll never doubt you ever again." And I looked at her and I go, "Dude, Virgil Hill's a good man." She's like, "No, but I can't believe you know Don King." I said, "Yeah, I know Don King really well. Don King's offices were in Miami." And that's how I met him, I think, through Angelo Dundee. I got a signed Ali poster from Angelo Dundee. Angelo used to live in Sarasota. He had a gym in Miami, and he would bring Muhammad over to our practice all the time. In 1987, 86, he would bring Ali over because Jimmy is a big boxing fan. The Beast Mugabe would show up. Hector Camacho would show up. And Jimmy used to bring all these boxers. So all of a sudden, we're sitting there. The University of Miami players, the biggest shit talkers on the planet. Who walks in to Green Tree? "I'm so pretty. Look at me." We're sitting there. We all went like this. We're practicing. We're in the middle of practice. And there's fucking Muhammad Ali. And I go, Butch goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "Hey, man, Ali's here." Everyone turned and went like this. I go, we just started walking. We stopped practice. We just started walking to him. Jimmy and the coaches started laughing. Because every guy in that football team was a fan of Ali. Shit talking, ego, had that swagger about him. We all wanted to be Junior Ali's. And there he was talking to us about being the champ. He goes, "Hey, man," he's talking about this. He goes, "Everyone gets knocked down. The ones who don't get up are the ones that are losers." And we're sitting there going, "Yeah, okay." He come by twice. my sophomore year to my junior year, he came by. Ain't nothing like seeing Ali. And then Angelo came to my studio when I was in Tampa. He came in, he gave me that autographed book I have Muhammad gave him. And because it was down at the Miami Convention Center. It's a picture of him fighting Liston at the convention center. And Ali signed it to Dan. And I have that. It's at the Miami Convention Center when he fought Sonny Liston. I ain't going to hold you, Sills. This has to be my favorite part of your segments. The last hour, you always end it with dope-ass stories. Shit is awesome as fuck, my guy. That's what fucking Jacob, Eduardo. Dude, I've had so many awesome moments, man, in my entire life being involved with people and being involved. Hey, by the way, to tell my stories, you got to tell the stories to people that like hearing them too. Ice Cube too, man. He knew I knew Ali. Ali, I mean, I tell you what, George Foreman became my friend because I was friends with Ali. George Foreman's been on this program twice. George Foreman still to this day reaches out to me on my birthday. George Foreman. One of my childhood idols growing up was George Foreman. I loved George Foreman. I couldn't believe how menacing he was. How he just ripped people a new one. This guy you see now, I like it, but I like the old menacing George. Just ran through you, crushed you, destroyed you. He was so powerful. And I stole the line from him. I used to go, George, so when you're in a fight and you're behind in a round, he goes, round? I don't give a shit about rounds. I'm trying to win the fight. I'm like, he goes, I never cared if I was behind in a round. It used to kill me every time my corner guy would tell me, you're behind. He goes, no, I'm not. I'm setting him up to get knocked out like he did Michael Moore. I'm sitting ringside at the MGM Grand because George Foreman gave me tickets that night, and he had been losing the whole night. I got a press pass right over here. Hold on. So you guys know that I'm not totally full of shit. He gave me this press pass. Foreman Mora, I was there. Okay? I was there. Signed it. I'm ringside watching the fight. Oh, by the way, I went back in the locker room after he knocked Mora out. And I'm sitting there. Boom, bang, boom. He looks up and goes like this. I remember asking him, you were wearing the shorts the night you got beat in Zaire. He looked over at me. He goes, you know that? I go, yeah. Those are the shorts. It's because it says Everlast used to give the heavyweight champion of the world signature shorts, George Foreman, heavyweight champion of the world. And only the champions would get these. And it said it on it. And it would, but obviously his waistline was bigger. The span was like, and it was faded. And George looked over and goes, yeah. I go, did you know it? He goes, I knew it in the 8th. I hit him with one pop and I heard him moan. He goes, I knew I was going to get him. 10th round. I've never heard a bigger noise in my life. Place exploded. He looks up and I go, what was your first thought? He goes, I can't believe God allowed me to get up off of Zaire. He thought about Zaire not getting up. He goes, finally, justified. I was like, dude, that's great shit. And I'm hearing this story. Him just saying, I thought of Zaire. I looked up and I said, I'm up. Dude, those are championship moments. Those are people talking in the moment of greatness. And being the heavyweight champion of the world and the oldest at 45, being beaten by Ali, one of the truly greatest heavyweights of all time. And Ali wouldn't fight him again. You know, he's the only guy that Ali wouldn't fight twice. Was George Foreman. Ali said, I'll have none of that. Way. Am I getting back into the ring with that dude? And Ali said it. He goes, I'm not getting back in the ring with George Foreman. No way. That was a one-time moment. Frazier beat him. He came back and beat him twice. Ken Norton beat him. Came back and beat him twice. Ali wasn't getting back in the ring with George Foreman. Okay, he was not. He's the only guy in his prime that he wouldn't get. He got in the ring with Leon Spinks. He was not going to get back into the ring with George Foreman. No way. George had too big a punch. Yo, Sills, you got to see the new Beverly Hills Cop. And he tells you what happens when he called Brothers Monkey. Akbar. Okay, I will. Crazy how you went from Cube to Pac to Ali to Foreman. Man, like anybody who thinks Sills, I don't know, man. Hey, Eduardo, people want to put narratives on people to stop them in life. The media guys have done that. You guys haven't. Guys, please hit the like button. Trying to get to 250 here. Guys, remember something. Yeah, the media did that. It wasn't you. The listeners have always supported me. It's the media. They're the ones telling you about this narrative about me. Why? You can't have a guy like me who's experienced all these things, been in the broadcast business, sitting in Colin Cowherd's chair. You can't have that. You notice something about Cowherd? He ain't bringing up the boxing controversy. He's not bringing up any of that. He's safe. Not a liberal. I'm not an ultra conservative either, though. I'm a guy who believes in right and wrong. Hey, Ray goes like this. Don King robbed Ali and Foreman in that fight. Well, Ray, this is what everyone took, including the guy at Top Rank, Bob Arum. You took 30% of the purse. Then you were the guy who put, you were the guy that got the ring, paid the trainer, did the promotion, paid for all that. That's another 35%. Those guys would get 70% of the purse. And Larry Holmes is also a friend of mine. Tell you that if you had $1 million purse, you're lucky if you brought home 350 grand. Then you got to worry about the tax man taking half that money. So you fight $1 million fight for $150,000. That's why most boxers back then were broke. When you see $1 million purse, the promoter gets 35% right off the top. And then after that, promotion, training, getting the gym for you, travel, all of that food, he pays out of that. And you're left with 30% and you get 300 grand. The tax guy takes takes 95,000 of it, and there's your money. That's what you made. Bob Arum did the same shit. Dana White does it too now. Dana does it too. Big Sills, when do we get your autobiography? Love the great stories. Wayne, my wife doesn't ever want me to do interviews because every time I've ever done an interview, they've always come back to bring up dirt on my past or things and people that I've known. And it's never gone well. So I've always been a little bit, I've had people ask me about writing some books and such. You know, Jason Cole and a guy named Don Yeager. You guys probably know the name Don Yeager. wanted to do an autobiography on a situation that I had because I knew a guy that was connected to the mob. And I said no, because I didn't think it was appropriate, because I knew some of these people are still alive. And someone goes, Sills, you've been to the White House? And I go, yeah, I do. Don't ask me. Craziness, man. I've told Philly Godfather, he knows that I know a couple of these people. It's crazy who I've run into. One of my biggest friends in the world is Italian. Know him for 40 years. He says the N-word, and I somehow never get mad. I love him. Hey, Akbar, you know what? The N-word to me, it's like calling me a wop. I don't think it's really needed. I could tell you this on my daughter's eyesight. I've never dropped that N-word. No way. I've had fun with my friends, but I'm like, why? Nah. Just, no reason for it. I got too many friends that would insult. You know what I'm saying? Sills, we fucking with this real shit. No fairy tale here. No, it ain't no fairy tales in this room. No way, man. Ups and downs. Getting up off the mat. We still talking linebackers or what? There's Kyle. Kyle's like, hey, man, this shit sounds all nice, Sills, but I need to know about some goddamn linebackers. What the hell's going on here, man? Need some linebackers, man. We're talking about like good old story days and shit. I need some gosh dang linebackers. That's what I want. Guys, we're at 227. Come on, man. Let's see if we can get that bad puppy to 250. Chuck says, Big Sills always keeps it real. Love this stuff. Sills, what's your greatest moment in your football career? Let's see. My greatest moment in my football career. I'll tell it to you. Okay? It's not quite what you think it's going to be. So when I went to Miami, I didn't have a scholarship guaranteed to me. They were going to give me a track scholarship, kind of like a couple of the NFL guys, or excuse me, the college football guys that they didn't have enough scholarships. They were going to give me a track and field scholarship to throw the shot at Miami. So I wasn't guaranteed anything when I got down there. And I had been offered scholarships to go to LSU and Oklahoma. I turned them down. And Jimmy and Butch said, and Dave, come here. If you say who you are, we promise we'll give you one. Well, I knew who I was. At that time, I was doing about 475 bench, and I was running about a 475 at 265. And I remember getting down there, and I got on the field. I did 475, and I ran a 478 or some shit. And I got on the field, and I just started killing everybody on sight. I didn't care who it was. Lonzo, Mel. I started killing everything. After a while, they were stopping practice, sending me in. I was just killing everything. Finally, Jimmy Johnson, right before they had to make a decision what they were going to do, he stops practice, brings everybody together. Sileo brings me to the center. It's about 35 minutes left of practice. The next year, I would get up to 535, 540 bench. I kind of hung out there, 545, 550 bench my next 2 years. But I'll never forget, he stopped practice. I got Jerome Brown. I got Russell Maryland. I got all these guys behind me and Michael Irvin and Jimmy and all these guys. They stopped practice. He goes, you did it. Everybody started mobbing me. And Jimmy sent me in the last 30 minutes. He said, congratulations. You deserve it. And Jerome grabbed me. And Jerome carried me in to the locker room. He said, you did it. And that's where our friendship took off. Right there. He carried me in on his shoulders. I got up on his shoulders. I'll never forget I carried Jerome off Green Tree Field his last practice. He goes, here we go, man. Full circle, huh? I was like, yeah. He carried me off. I got in the locker room. I called my grandpa. I said, they gave it to me. It was probably my greatest moment. All those great players around me. Jerome carrying me off the field. Fast forward 2 years later, I carried him off. His final practice at UM. That's my greatest moment. In front of my teammates, all the people I love to this day still. Yeah. That's probably my greatest moment. Okay? That was just a great moment. Hell yes, Sills. That's one hell of a moment. I got your tissue right here, big guy. No, man. No, it's not. It's a happy moment. Okay? No. Dude, you gotta have been there. You gotta have been there to be around all that. Guys, I'll talk to you guys open-hearted here. I'd never been around that many black guys in my life. I didn't know about culture stuff. I only knew about Italians. My folks spoke Italian in my house. Majority of my life. I didn't know anything about anybody. I didn't know anything about anything. Okay, I got down to Miami. I learned more about life in 3 years than I had ever learned in my entire life. Would I say I was sheltered? Probably my aunt and my grandparents. Yeah. Still am today by my aunt. Yeah. My aunt doesn't let anybody talk shit on me, including some of you dickbags in here. Well, you got to remember something, Ray. Where I grew up down in the cove, down in the water, down near the water, and it was kind of cool. Aunt Betty got mad at Big Cells. Shoot, which day is it? So I grew up down in the cove where all the Italians are, and my folks bought their house in 58 for $15,000. It wasn't like that. Okay, at Big Z. Oh, she got mad at Big Z because we got in that heated debate. Yes. That statement about sports breaking down barriers, all the bullshit goes away. Race, background, just boys and girls coming together for one goal. Forced. Dude, I didn't know that. I thought that shit was bullshit and you put it on a scoreboard too and on a board. Do you understand, Forrest? When they write that shit about me and call me a racist, do you know how many of my Miami Hurricane guys leave messages laughing? Forrest, I'm going to tell you something that I should never tell, and my aunt will kill me. After that whole thing happened, let me tell you what, my aunt's going to kill me. Let me tell you what Danny Stubbs did. He sat out front of the White House with 2 watermelons. When Obama was in the White House, he goes like this. Congratulations, Sills, you're a racist. Jonathan Vilma called me. Hey, you're a racist? Shit, I'm not inviting you over for breakfast. Like, Michael Urban goes, oh my God, they're calling you of all people? Shit. Oh, man. Dude, it was great. It was great to grow up in that environment. It really was. I enjoyed it. Aunt Betty was mad about to hit me with the wooden spoon. Hey, my aunt goes like this about Xander. She goes like this. Hey, man, we do really. I go, show business. You know, he's getting a little bit too big for his britches. He owns the fucking channel. Yeah, what do you mean? He can do whatever he wants. And she's like, well, you know, my aunt's like, you know, I'm 60 years old. She's like, you know, I don't know about this kid. What do you make of it? I go, I love the kid. One thing, Xander Krause, he's never lied to me, ever. And so she's like, you know, you put every time you put someone on to give, you know, Barrett gets a job, and you know, this guy's like, you know, that's, you know, and I'm like, relax. Relax. Hey, Crowley goes, did the Eagles announce that the starters are playing? Hey, Nick will get that call. This is how Nick will get it. This is how Xander's boy, Nick, will get the call, because Xander's a Nick Sirianni guy now, you know. Blue Horseshoe likes only the second team playing on Friday. You can pass that to the fellas, and you can give that stock tip out after you feed your friends. Blue Horseshoe. Psst. Jalen, you're not playing. Don't tell anybody. Look at this guy. That's how you know I won the debate. Big Sills never loses debates. Remember something. When you're on this program, you're in the world of Big Sills. Okay? Sills, your information's wrong. No, it's not. It's never wrong. No. This is the world of Big Sills. Dude, you know what you're talking about? Oh, yeah, I do. Sills, you ever done any acting? No, nor would I want to. Okay? I already have enough of a problem. See, I'd be more of a method actor. You know what I'm saying? I'd be more of a method actor. Yeah. Good grief. What a donkey. Sills, if the Eagles make a move, I love Kyle, man. He ain't letting me get off that linebacker shit, man. I'm going to have to be prepared tomorrow for Kyle, because he's going to hammer me 4 more hours of it, man. Who is available? And when I say who, Sills, I'm not an effing owl. How you doing? Look at Crowley here. Every time Barkley gets over 125 all-purpose yards, JAKIB will be giving away a jersey to one lucky channel member. Hey, Crowley, you should add this in. If Bryce Huff shows up, hey, if Bryce Huff shows up one time this year, you will get a free Carson Wentz jersey. Or a Hassan Reddick jersey. Maybe, we'll start giving away Hassan Reddick jerseys. If Bryce Huff shows up one time, you officially get a Hassan Reddick jersey. One time. You get a Hassan Reddick jersey. Or, okay, you get a box of cream puffs. I'll take the Reddick jersey. Oh, man. Hey, I thought that was pretty cool of Ice Cube, too, man. I was really glad that he came aboard with us. Always finds time for me, man. Oh, Devin White, too. Here's another one. I think Devin White is gonna show out this season. 100 tackles. Hey, Ray. Hey, wait a minute. Let's do this. Nolan Smith. Nakobe Dean, Nolan Smith, Nakobe Dean, and Huff. Do any of those guys have any impact on your team this year? Nolan Smith, 3 sacks. Nakobe Dean, 3 games. And no starting. Huff, 4 sacks. Dude, if you imagine if Huff comes in with 4 sacks. I don't care what a dick Hassan Reddick is. He comes in with 4 sacks this year. You're going to be going like this. Yeah, that didn't work. You're going to be looking at Ryan Kerrigan kind of guys. Oh, my God. Dean Sills, I'd rather have Rager. Oh, my God. Look at Cosmo. Hey, Sills, can we sign Rager? I'll give you Dean. Said Dean was going to have 100 tackles and be healthy last year. Glad real money wasn't bet. Who said that? Dean was going to have 100 tackles. I said the guy stinks since he got here. Or no, I said the guy, I'm not high on the guy. Hey, Crowley goes, Stills, make sure you come tomorrow back here with some linebackers thing. Kyle's going to blow us up again if you don't. Stills, I'm done with Dean. I'd rather invest my time with Trotter. Me too, man. Me too. Me too, man. Stills, we need you on Birds 365 as a guest. Hey, man. Big Sills, man. I don't know, man. I'm not a guest kind of guy. You know, maybe for Xander. See, you notice I don't do Big Bill. He don't come on my program. We don't do that. I put A+ guys on my show. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You see what I deal with? Madness. Guys, make sure you check out Farzi, by the way, in the morning, who does a fantastic job as well at preparing us and getting us ready for the broadcast of JAKIB Sports, then also to Birds 365. John does a great job. Really great guest. Xander has rolled that show into really being a great show. It has absolutely been an upgrade since Jody. Sorry, Jody, but it has been. Okay? I don't feel like I want to put my false teeth in now. I feel like I want let me go. Hey, I appreciate everybody. Please hit the like button. Love you guys. Xander, Big Joe, 2 to 6 tomorrow, and we shall see you on the flip side.